Sanzenbeck?
Because everybody's wrong,
So
Tito.
I've been right?
You've been right.
Seriously?
And then you just blew it.
How about that?
You had it right the whole time.
Yeah. Should have had a conversation for the show, I guess, because then I wouldn't have outed myself on that one.
Well,
let's start over.
It's pretty typical that you start with either some kind of slight insult, something.
I did insult you, Dane, because I did send you a text after a receiver was taking the draft and said, I don't like receivers that are 5'11".
Yeah, I didn't understand the random shot being fired.
I told my wife, I said, I'm going to send this to Dane. And she said, he's going to punch you. And I said, Dane is too nice to punch me.
It had been months, and you had to throw that out as if, like,
right.
It felt to me like you were saying, hey, don't use your height as an excuse.
Right, no.
People that are your height get drafted. Why didn't you? Is that what was meant by it? That's what I took from it.
What Dane said when he said it's been months, what he meant, he didn't mean it's been months since he's hit me. It's been months since I made that comment. So I want to understand that. Dane did not hit me months ago.
No, it was months since you'd text me. The comment was yesterday.
Yes.
Or 2 days ago.
2 days ago, yes, I did that. And I told my wife, I don't think Dane got it. And she said, well, leave it alone because he might punch you. So
I responded.
You did. No, but I said, I didn't think you got it, though. That's what I'm saying. I didn't think you got it. That's all. And you did. You didn't understand the reference at first. So
what was it?
The fact I made fun of you for being the phone I said about the 5'11", about the Ohio State lost their receiver, Nakorian. Dorn Nakorian, I can't remember what it was. The receiver they lost out to Oregon. And I told you on the show, our first show working together.
You said, well, he's 5'11", so we didn't need him anyway.
Yeah, I said, I like my receivers 6 feet tall. Then I'm looking at you, looking at me sideways. And I said, Dane, how tall are you? You said, I'm 5'11".
Yeah.
Then I stopped.
Well, I forget the name of the gentleman you were referring to that was 5'11" and got drafted. And I said, if you run a 4.2, it's acceptable.
Yeah,
there's a sliding scale with height and speed.
What was your 40?
Not 4.2. Why are you doing this right now? Can we move on?
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm just curious. I was
4.5 at the combine.
Okay.
I ran 4.4 at Pro Day when the clocks are a a little more friendly for you.
That's a good time.
Thanks for your encouragement.
I mean that, Dave. Nate's over there. Nate, why? By the way, producers should save hosts before they put both feet in their mouths.
You do it every time.
I know I do, but that's where Nate should step in and say, it's like, hey, we got a break.
Why would they ruin a good thing?
It's not a good... We got a big show lined up for you today. We'll talk a lot about the NFL draft. Ohio State picked up a couple of transfers in the portal this week for the football side. We'll discuss that. We'll talk NBA, NHL. Reds beat the Rockies 6-4. They'll wrap up their series today at 3:10. Guardians over the Red Sox 5-4. They'll play at 1:40 today in the series finale. The Crew won 2-1 over San Jose. And Ohio State had 14 players drafted, 7 yesterday alone. We'll talk a lot about that kind of stuff. Well, also, we've got Mekka Don coming on at 12:30. At 1:15, we will have Aaron Portzline on with us, talk about the Jackets heading towards the offseason, what they've got going on. And then at 2:15, we'll have Chris McNeil. And you say, who's Chris McNeil? Because that's what everyone says. He's at reflog_18 on Twitter. He's got a zillion followers. He's well-known. He's a Cleveland sports fan, Cleveland Sports Talk host, and I want to get his overreaction to the Browns and what they did in the draft. Let's talk about Ohio State football first, though, for the upcoming season. Ohio State early this week, Dane, picked up Bo Atkinson, a defensive end out of from North Carolina. He's like 6'6", 265 or something, and he's an edge rusher. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. He had 7.5 sacks last year for North Carolina. So he leaves Belichick to go back to a team that's got a former Belichick assistant as defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia. But this position group, and this is not a slight on them, but the defensive line is what I'm most I think I'm most concerned about, I guess, going into the season.
Because of who we're losing? Because of that talent's going out?
Yep, because of that, yep.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's one that anymore, it's tough to get a young guy and then try to, breed that talent for a couple years. It seems anymore the route, if you need to replace it fast, is to get a guy in the portal, get a guy that's proven. What year did you say he was?
He's got 2 years left of eligibility.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one you can fix fast and get him in here, with time to get used to everything, get into camp. Yeah, I mean, and his stats seem to be something that made you perk up. You like that kind of size?
I do like 6'6", 2'7".
That works for you, so that's good.
Yes, that's good.
But that can mess some stuff up for offenses.
There were some other teams that were in on him. Like I think Georgia wanted him as well. So he was a desired player in the portal. And so it's a good get for Ohio State. And by the way, Ohio State, what I loved about it too, they didn't lose anybody in the portal this year, in this last cycle. Nobody left Ohio State in the cycle here, really? Which is, when you think about, there's thousands of players that are in the portal when they first opened it up and all, and Ohio State did not lose anybody. They were very selective on who they added. They also added an offensive lineman from West Virginia. Justin Terry's his name. He's from Pickerington. He went to West Virginia and was there for a year, but never saw the field. So he now has 4 years left. But the offensive line, another thing, I'm confident in the offensive line this year because how much work they had in the last season because of injuries and the talent they have coming back. I'm very confident in the offensive line, but you can never have enough, as we saw last year, offensive linemen.
Yep. I mean, we went through it last year, especially when depth is going to be as crucial as anything, with the season getting as long as it gets if you're going to make that title run. What else are you excited about? I mean, I know the questions you have, you said it's offensive line.
Right.
Or not, defensive line.
Yeah.
That's your biggest question mark. What else out there? Well, I mean, obviously receivers seem that obviously that's a negative.
Yes.
There's no real fear there. It seems like a lot of position groups. So there's some questions in the air.
There are some, but there's because of the talent coming back. I think we've got, obviously defensive backfield, the DBs, they're going to be great. I love Sonny Styles and what he's going to be able to do. So I don't have a lot of concerns about the linebackers. I don't have any concerns about the wide receivers, the tight end, getting the transfer in Max Clare, I think it was his name, from Purdue, who was a great asset last year for the Boilermakers. The running game, I think they've got a good mix of running backs in there. And I'm excited to see what Bo Jackson can do, the freshman. But I don't feel, and I believe in Julian Sand or Lincoln Keenels, either one of those guys. Like, there's certain position groups where it's like I have so much faith in the coordinator, the success they've had in turning it over year after year, like Hartline with the receivers. I know they're going to be studs every single year. It's going to be among the best in the country.
Yeah. And we're a little spoiled in there, too, in having the longevity of the coaching staff, too.
Yeah.
And there's been guys cycled in, but there's a certain amount of comfort there. I'm really interested about with the running backs. I mean, those are the biggest shoes, some of the biggest shoes to fill. I mean, obviously the quarterback that'll take up a lot of the air, especially as we're going through camp and the first couple weeks of the season. But that was such an important part of that run last year. So I think that's, looking at the new roster and into this season, that's where my eyes tend to go.
Yeah, I could see it, but I think the offensive line is going to be better so much better from day one than they were last year from day one. And just because of how many guys they've got that had to get playing time last year, even though they lost, obviously some key guys on the offensive line, losing Jackson, losing Simmons, those are big time shoes to fill. But because of how many guys they've got that had significant playing time, I'm confident that plus the transfers, they're going to be just fine there.
I wonder how much of a transfer enticement it is that you have such a huge game week one.
Right, yeah.
I would think that would help. Obviously, money is talking a lot these days, but it is kind of nice, especially if you're an older guy or maybe a couple years left, to be able to sell we just had 14 guys go in the draft, so let's
varied positions, too. It's like not just 14 defensive or 14. It's like a quarterback.
Yeah, right. So if that's your goal, let's not let money be the only thing, because this is a good path for you to make plenty of it.
Yeah.
But also, hey, you want to be on big stages? Okay, sure. This school might be offering you a lot, but you don't think all eyes are going to be on that week one game, and if you show out in that one, that doesn't help you. So I mean, as much of that's kind of probably for a lot of Ohio State fans, you're like, man, could we get a game to warm up before this one?
I know.
As a fan and as like the opportunity for those guys, that's huge.
And that's the thing where I always say, oh God, I want to see more big games, more and all this stuff, but not this early. Make it the second or third game.
You said that last time.
Let's just ease
I want big
into
games,
it.
just not that one.
Not that one. But it'll be.
I love it. It's a complete wild card. Like, you don't really know what you have yet on either team.
Right. I would be much more concerned if not for the 12-team playoff. If this was back to like a 4-team playoff, a loss in the first game of the season, a loss anytime, it gives you pause, because you really, in the 4-teamer, you couldn't really, in most cases, lose another one. And so, at least now, though, if you end up losing 2 games at Ohio State this year, and say Texas is 1, and I gotta believe they're like, maybe Penn State, or I don't think they're going to lose at Michigan, whatever it is. Like if they lose a second game somewhere in there,
why are you putting that out there?
Because I have to acknowledge that at least there's a possibility. I don't think it will happen, but I thought last year Ohio State would win by 40 points.
Yeah, I think you're right in that most of the big guys right now, and by big guys I mean the Ohio States, Michigans, Alabamas, you're getting more and more of a cushion with this new makeup.
Right.
It's not as scary to book those big games early in the season.
Sure.
Because as long as it's still this makeup of a playoff, and you're still going to be evaluated the same way, you're going to start the season highly ranked. It's going to be hard to fall out of that top if you take care of the rest. If you have a bunch of losses, sure, you're not going to make it. But it does take the edge off. It's not like in years past when you're going out to USC early in the season and you lose it like we did in 2008, I think it was. Then you're just looking at a different season outlook altogether.
And so, this year, the way the schedule's set up, though, for them, it's not like it's they don't have a road game at Oregon kind of thing. Their road games this year, they're at Washington, in Seattle. Who knows on that one. At Illinois could be tricky. That one's on October 11th. They are at Wisconsin the following week. And then Penn State here, it's another game, and then at Michigan to close out the season. But they got a stretch there. When they play Minnesota on October 4th here, they won't have another home game until November 1st when they take on Penn State here, which is just going to be a fun game. I got to believe having Knowles come back in here into Ohio Stadium and see what he can do and see what Penn State looks like, and see if James Franklin's got 2 losses by then and we can bury him. Coming up next, the NFL Draft now behind us. Do a deeper dive where the former Buckeyes landed. We'll do that next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
When you're a AAA member, we do the hard stuff for you. So picture this. You're taking a road trip through the mountains at night, and you run out of gas. Do you, A, call AAA, or B, walk 29 miles to the nearest gas station in the pouring rain?
A?
How about this? You need auto insurance. You could A, pick AAA to find the best coverage for you, or B, spend so much time researching insurance jargon that you might as well have gotten a law degree.
Yeah, I'm going with A.
Right. Okay, you're booking a vacation. You can A, have AAA plan it for you, or B, stress so hard about layovers and getting to your cruise that you need a vacation from booking your vacation.
That's easy. A, AAA.
On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Let's go to the floor with some late-breaking developments on the markets. Jim?
Up things are down things are up.
Sounds like things
You
are...
don't understand. Right is left, lemons are sweet, spaghetti is cold, the milk is warm.
Okay, but are you seeing anything that maybe smart-minded money people should know about?
Yeah. Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Probably one of the most stable things you can do is an Apex Pros air conditioner tune-up.
Air conditioner tune-ups, you say?
Oh yeah, Apex Pros knows most expensive summer breakdowns can be prevented by getting a tune-up now.
Yes, it's known that a tuned-up AC lowers energy bills, which is important to...
Oh, this is unbelievable.
What, big sell-off? Huge increase?
No, I spilled coffee on my new shirt. Anyway, tune-up save on energy bills, plus make your air conditioner last years longer.
Good to know Apex Pros keeps things stable and predictable.
That's on my pants, too. This is the worst day. This is historic. You know that.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Much like a vampire, we need to be invited into your house. But once we're in, we never leave. Listen to The Fan on your Alexa or Google Home smart speaker. Just say play 97.1 The Fan and prepare to be amazed. Do it now.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
Hey, Sports Cards fans, I'm Jeff with my buddy Adam, and we run Huggy Kissy Bear breaks on the Whatnot app. What's a card break? Simple. We open boxes of cards live, you pick your team, and we send you all the hits. With over 2,300 five-star reviews, we're all about you. New to card breaks? No sweat. We've got you covered with a sweet welcome package from us. Download the Whatnot app and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to view all of our past Sugar Bear hits. Huggy Kissy Bear breaks, where collectors win big.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Fan weather
from the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for your Sunday. We're looking ahead to plenty of sunshine, high temperatures into the upper 60s for this afternoon. And then for tonight, mostly clear and quite cool as we dip into the lower 40s. By Monday, we're tracking more sunshine and warmer temperatures into the upper 70s for your Monday afternoon. We'll continue to warm up into the 80s here by Tuesday, but also tracking the chance for storms by Tuesday afternoon. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Garnish your Bloody Mary with sports talk. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
And Sports Sunday, Tito and Dane S to my right. I'm not going to screw it up. I'm just going to say Dane S.
That's fine.
Sans. Nate back there running things.
Wouldn't that be Danes?
It'd be Danes. You're right. That will be Danes. Yes. So the draft concluded yesterday, and a plethora, I just like using the word plethora, of Buckeyes, a gaggle of Buckeyes were selected. Three that were not drafted, by the way, were Seth McLaughlin, Josh Fryer, and G. Scott. And they all got contracts signed as free agents. McLaughlin's with the Bengals now. Fryer is with the Cardinals, and Scott signed with the Patriots to join Travion Henderson there and former Buckeye Mike Vrabel, the head coach there. So those guys all signed. And we know, I'm sure by now, because you've watched the draft, if you're a sports fan and listening to us, you know where Buckeyes went and which ones they were. I love the Jack Sawyer to the Steelers. Just because, and I'm a Steelers fan, okay? There we go.
I was going to say,
I'm a Steelers fan, yes.
What was going to come after?
No,
just because some lie is about to come, then just like, you're a Steelers fan, dude. Like,
let me just tell
of course
you
liked it.
What I like about it is that he feels like a Steelers player to me. He's got a kind of like Midwest kind of guy, rough, tough. I hope he loses some of his teeth and looks like Jack Lambert, but no offense.
He seems like he's kind of like grizzled, rust belt.
I think he could be, yes.
Yeah, like he would be doing this or in the coal mines, or what do you think?
Right. Yeah, I think it
just feels right to you.
It feels right to me.
No, I think he's lucky. Him and Will both. I think there's some franchises and he's like with Pittsburgh, I just think Cam Hayward, who is still doing it.
Yep.
From my class.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how many years that is. What, 10, 11?
10.
11, 12.
I think it's more than 11. He's going to be 36 here soon.
Yeah. Well, no, he was in the 2011 class, so we're talking, oh my goodness, we're at 14.
As you get older, you're going to do that. You're going to say, what was that, 5 years ago I was playing for Ohio State? No, it wasn't 5 years. Let's go,
Okay, let's say there are only a handful of franchises where you can play 14 years and be there.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh is one. They're notorious for having their guys, and if they're good and they like them and they fit, they'll pay them now and keep them. Now, Cam has been one that has performed, so there was been never a reason to get rid of him. I think, but the other end of that is players have their preferences. Sometimes players want out, and it says a lot when guys stay there that long. And I'm not, a Pittsburgh fan. I played for Cincinnati, but I played with enough guys that spoke very highly of the organization from that sense of like they'll take care of you, and guys that wanted to go back there at some point. So I think it's good for the Steelers because they're getting great players, but I think it's good for those guys too, because if you're going to get a shot to catch on and make an impact, that's a really good place to kind of make an NFL home.
I thought there would be 2, maybe 3 Buckeyes in the first round, and I thought it'd be 3 if Travion, because Travion's getting a lot of. He had a lot of not motivation. I'm thinking he had a lot of momentum going into the draft to maybe being a first-round pick. I heard we had Albert Breer on and talked to him, and he was saying he thinks that he was thinking Travion could go in the first round, but the 4th went Ibuka, Donovan Jackson, Tyleek Williams, and Josh Simmons. Simmons to the Chiefs. Look, anytime you're associated with the Chiefs, it's a great fit. It's a great spot for you. You know what I mean? So, and look, he's going to play in the postseason. You go to the Chiefs, you're guaranteed, as long as Mahomes is quarterback and Andy Reid's your coach, you're going to play in the postseason.
Yeah, it's a great place to land. It'll be there's always culture shock walking into places like that.
Yeah.
Or not even culture shock might not be the right word. When I signed with Chicago as a free agent in 2011, I was going into a very old team.
Sure.
But like they weren't by no means obviously the Chiefs. Like these guys are struggling to make classic Bears. Yeah, right. But it was a veteran roster of Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Julius Peppers, Peanut Tillman.
Yeah.
Our defense was stacked.
Right.
You had Jay Cutler, Devin Hester. And as you walk in as a rookie, it's one thing to go from college to the NFL. It's another to walk into dudes that were playing when you were in middle school.
Right. The guys you play with on Madden.
It doesn't feel like you're a same thing. It's oh, these are adults.
Right.
Oh my God, these are
players.
These are
real players.
These are dudes that you just have caricatures built in your head of. So and I can imagine walking into Kansas City, there's going to be a lot of that.
Oh,
you might see Taylor Swift walk by. You're not going to be cool about it.
No, there's
you're
no
going to
way.
think you're being cool, but you're going to be a little panicky when you have Mahomes. You guys are in the hot tub at the same time. You're going to be trust me, it's
Mr. Mahomes, go get you a towel.
Yeah. So what are you doing for lunch? What are you up to this weekend? You're making normal person small talk with people who have gotten themselves out of the normal person range. So but you're right. You're definitely going to have a chance to compete as long as those guys are there. I mean, their star is still bright for the coming years, it seems.
Will Howard to the Steelers there in that 6th round. What a moment was for him being from Pennsylvania himself. And I saw the video when he got the call and it was announced and how he broke down and was just overcome with emotion knowing he's going to the Steelers. And I know that some people will say, and Scotty Bates talked about this, if you're a 5th or 6th round pick in the NFL draft as a quarterback, your odds of making it, meaning being an average or above average starter, are not great. I don't know what Will Howard's future is going to be, but I think that he's in about the perfect situation he could be in with talk about the organizational stability and the fact that Rodgers will be there. They're going to get Rodgers. He'll have a year. He'll be sitting behind Rodgers. And Rodgers has said to other teams that when whoever he signs with, he's willing to be a mentor to whoever's next because he knows he's not going to be a long-term answer. And then also the fact just that it's got to be comfortable for him. So I couldn't be happier for Will Howard.
Yeah, for all the reasons I said before.
Yeah.
And if you can get yourself in a stable situation,
right,
in stable organizations, you always have a good shot. Because yes, if you can, that's the type of place.
Yeah.
That you can, if you solidify yourself as a backup, you can stay solidified as a backup. There's not many organizations that will let you do it. It's like they're keeping, if they have a backup, maybe it's shuffling in every other year, or they're bringing in a guy that they think could be the guy.
Sure.
And I'm not saying Will needs to be pegged as that.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, it's the odds for a guy that's a quarterback, like you said, in that round. Now, I hear people like, Tom Brady. I get it. I know. It's not but just the odds. You want to be a guy that is going to be reliable. And when you get your chance, be ready. But there's no shame in taking a backup role, especially to these good, like, franchise Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and learning from them in order to get your shot and not have to be thrown into the fire and, right away and make those plays. So, yeah, that's a great spot to land. I'm happy for both those guys. And, I hope that's where they end up.
Yeah,
not
me
that
too.
let's get off like the Steeler fandom train though, because I am not, and I can see you're getting a little too happy with this talk over here. You keep returning to Jack Sawyer and Will Howard, like you won't. So we're getting to a point where like you're going to annoy half the audience, and then I'm going to be guilty by association.
Back-to-back championships, right? Last year Ohio State, this year Super Bowl, right? Okay, but I will tell you this though: if your first name is former Buckeye great. Okay, if you've made big plays for Ohio State against Michigan or had a successful career at Ohio State, you will always have a special place in the hearts of people in Columbus. The fans will always remember you and embrace you. And I think the same thing is true of Pittsburgh. Like if Sawyer and Howard will make it there, they will. Pittsburgh fans are the same way in that. That place is such. I see a lot of similarities there.
That's absolutely true.
All right, coming up next in 2 minutes. Pittsburgh, no, just kidding. Mekka Don's going to join us. Buckle up next. This is Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall from my friends at Orthopedic One, Central Ohio's most trusted orthopedic practice. 2 years ago, I was actually experiencing hip pain for the first time in my life, and I knew I needed the best. So I chose Orthopedic One for my physical therapy needs. And in a matter of weeks, I was rotating that golf swing better than before, and I was the longest hitter in my group again. So be like me and trust Orthopedic One. Several convenient locations around Central Ohio. To find a physician or location near you, go to www.orthopedicone.com.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY. And when he needs metal, he goes to metal supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on metal supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Oh, hey, the best football team in the country's on the best radio station in the country. Congratulations, Buckeyes. Here's to 100 more years together. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. Live, local, and still slightly drunk.
I'm not drunk, all right? I just have a speech impediment.
This is Fan Sports Sunday.
It is Fan Sports Sunday. Tito, Dane, Nate, even a shade of Brian back there with him. Thanks much for tuning in. We now head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline, joined by Mekka Don. Mekka, I'm not going to say what I usually say to introduce this segment, just so you know, by order of you. But I'm curious to get your thoughts on the draft in Ohio State, where how the players went. Anything surprise you? Anything disappoint you? Anything really excite you?
Well, just
I felt like it was an Ohio State commercial watching it, right? Obviously. I mean, and this was predicted. It wasn't like we thought we were surprised at the amount of guys that went. I was surprised Carson Hinsman didn't go. I think the Bengals got a steal in that one in undrafted free agency. But
Seth McLaughlin.
Or Seth, excuse me. Yeah, Seth. Sorry, thank you. But I was just happy for these guys, man. It just like it was like the cherry on the bigger cherry on another cherry of a cake. Just watching like all of their careers and national championship, and then watching their dreams come true. It was awesome.
And Mekka, I don't know who or if you have an NFL team, but how much do you follow, former Buckeyes as they go into the league?
I'm a Browns fan, and it's every year in the draft. I'm always we did. We got Quinshon. I was so happy about that. But I feel like the Steelers are always just a thorn in my side. They always take guys that I feel like we should have. They seem much more committed to taking Buckeyes than the Browns do. And the Browns are doing a better job recently. But I follow the players a lot. I think, when it comes to pros especially, as big of a, I'm a Browns fan, but nothing like I am for college, right? And so a lot of times the pros, you have teams moving cities. You got, coaches changing. You got trades. So it's hard for me to fall so deeply in love. So I really do, watch the players because, they're still representations of Buckeyes when they get to the league.
So, Mekka, they had 205,000 the first. I think they had a total of over 600,000 over 3 days of the draft there. Next year, it's going, and Dane knows this being a fan, next year it goes to Pittsburgh is where they're going to hold the draft next year. But when I'm watching that draft, and there's NBA playoffs going on at the same time. Mm-hmm. And now, my choice was to watch the draft. I didn't watch any of the NBA playoffs when it was going up head-to-head against the draft.
Yeah.
Would that be your choice as well? Because I got to feel like it seems like the NFL just owns the world now.
Well, yeah. Also, you're talking about first round of the NBA playoffs, so it's not like, and not necessarily, we're not like at game sevens or anything like that. So if it was, a game seven, or something like that, that's probably a tougher choice. But then also you have the Shedeur Sanders saga, which I think, whether you love them, hate them, or indifferent, it created drama, and so I think they had people glued to the TV with that as well, just to see where he would go.
I think, as you mentioned before, you can fall more deeply in love with the college team or Ohio State, but as things change here more and more, with you've got transfers coming in, you get less familiar with the roster, and as you try to build and entice guys in, when you're watching the draft, like as you're seeing it, or your opinion, how much of having 14 guys go is a luring tool for Ohio State? I'd have to imagine that's a huge thing to be able to go out and tell guys that you want in the portal without having to speak with just money.
Well, so this is interesting because, and I don't know if it'll fall like this every year, but at the same time that we have 14 guys drafted, the transfer portal is opening and closing. And Ohio State doesn't lose even one scholarship player in the transfer portal in this day and age. And I imagine that those things are related, right? And not to say that you couldn't lose anyone, but the fact that you have a program of so many guys going to the league as a huge selling point, right? Because that's ultimately, what these guys, despite what people say about these kids, they ultimately want to play at the highest level and be successful. But then simultaneously you have the transfer portal, and nobody's leaving. So that tells you that the quality of the program is something that is in good hands, not even just from the outside looking in, but from the inside out. So I think those things are working hand in hand and are actually probably a result of each other.
Mekka Don joining us here on the Brian Heating Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline. And you're inside, like you have obviously, you're more internally with the program. With all the things you did this year and your relationships and whatnot. And on the outside, people might say, oh, they just go to Ohio State because of the money. But the fact they lose nobody, that just speaks a lot to the overall culture that Ryan Day passes down, correct?
100%. Because, yes, money is involved, and Ohio State has a lot of it. So I'm never going to discount that and act as if that doesn't play a role. And, we have our collectives that are stepping up and making sure that guys are taken care of when, the top guys who are being lured away. We also had the spring game, which a lot of people didn't want to have their spring game showcased or even do the spring game anymore because they feel like it was a showcase essentially for the portal. And so to have that happen, we did it. We did it on national television, and we were able to still retain everybody. That is a testament to the program. It's a testament to Ryan Day. It's a testament to the culture that's being built. It's not something that we should expect every year, honestly, but it gives me hope, honestly, for college football. A lot of people who think college football is changing, is going to be changed forever. No, it gives me hope for a little bit of stability. I think we have a lot more comfort. To Dane's point, we have a lot more comfort now. We all know who's on the roster. We had some couple transfers come in, but it gives a little bit more comfort to the kind of the stability aspect of the Buckeyes.
Mekka Don joining us here on the Bryant Heating Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline. And I want to make sure I ask this the right way. I know you are always working your butt off. You're always busy. It seems to me, though, the last year or so has been busier than normal. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think it is fair to say for a couple of reasons. One, my kids are 7 and 3, and my son in particular has been much more active. I mean, he's in multiple sports. My daughter is now starting to do swimming, and, she's starting to get into sports and stuff like that, too. So that has increased the level of busyness on its own. But then also just, I think my brand, for lack of a better word, and, profile has definitely grown, and, a lot of more opportunities exist. So I'm just trying to balance it all. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely busier now, and I embrace that because that's part of what I work hard for. I'm doing things that I love to do. You're probably going to mention this anyway, so I'll just jump into it. I'm also releasing a book, and along with a documentary, which is going to drop in June. Buckle Up, the soundtrack of Champions, which is going to be, a story about my life, but also about this season as it related to the Buckeyes and my anthem being the anthem the guys write out to, and have some great interviews from some players, Denzel Burke and Lathan Ransom, and that as well. So that's being released. And then I'm also releasing a book called Buckle Up, the Playbook, which is related but not necessarily the same. It's like kind of like a self-help motivational book. It's called Buckle Up, the Playbook, 5 winning plays for go-getters. So I basically give like 5 of, what I think are winning plays, things that have helped me kind of succeed and get through adversity. And so all these different things that are, have come up in terms of projects that take a lot of time, create, obviously a busier world as well. So grateful for it all. But yes, definitely, it's a good assessment, good analysis.
Is the book done or is it being worked on now?
The book is like 95% done. So I'm just tightening up a couple of loose edges and get some editing and hopefully get a nice forward from somebody working on that. And so, but yeah, it's done. I mean, I have the plays and the bonus plays. I have it written. It's something that I've actually thought about for many years and worked on, in a lot of ways for many years. But now it just seems like the right time to do it. So I'll be releasing that at the same time as the documentary. So pretty excited about that.
If I can make a suggestion for the forward, don't use anybody who hosts radio shows here at this station. We are all idiots, and we would botch it.
Tito, I don't think we were in the running. When he said, I want to get, I don't think he was thinking anybody. If you thought it was going to be you, I'm sorry.
Listen, I've done this since I was a younger person. Go up to the prettiest girl and say, I'm not interested. Just say that up front.
So that's just for you. That just
and that way
you...
she can't act. You know what?
I'm sorry. We'll unpack that in a different
I'm just saying. I just said Mekka wasn't going to ask me, but me saying that tells Mekka I broke up with him.
Okay.
I did that. Okay.
Okay.
And Mekka, now I'm going to do this. I'll put you on the spot even more. Audio book to follow? With Mekka Don reading the book?
I think that makes sense, man. I think that makes sense. I haven't actually thought about that. And to be honest, I wrote a book when I was younger, self-published when I was 20. It was like a fiction novel. And at that time, that wasn't even an option. So I've been out of the world for a little bit. But I do need to get back into the world a little bit and see what kind of the standard is and what the expectations are. But yeah, I would love to do that if it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it is for me, and I'm telling stories, about things that worked in my life and very personal stuff too. So who better to talk about it than myself, I guess.
Right.
It seems like you're going to have quite the busy.
I keep adding stuff to it.
Busy next year. Yeah,
right,
now you got to do an audiobook.
Right.
You're barely going to have probably any time, but we do have another season coming up. I know this last season probably launched a lot of new projects for you just because the success of your song and really association with Ohio State and then Ohio State having the year. But As you look at this next year's team, what's standing out to you as, hey, I can't wait to watch this play out?
So, great question, and I think part of my insight into this answer comes from being around a little bit in spring and going to, practice and pro day and seeing these guys and talking to some of the players. I talked to Sonny. Sonny told me it's a crazy amount of juice in the building. No drop off in terms of energy. In fact, it's been ramped up. That was one of my biggest questions, because always after a championship, you always wonder, and not just the championship, but you lost a lot of leaders, right? A lot of guys who were controlling the energy. But we have some other leaders that are there that are ready to take over. And so to hear that, I think was very exciting. I think that obviously one of the most, intriguing things is the kind of quarterback battle. I think Julian's going to win it, but I think Lincoln is going to push him all the way. And then we'll see what Tavion does coming up on the rear. But I think that's going to be interesting. Mylan Graham, I'm so excited about him. So excited about him. That kid is an absolute stud. Max Clare, going to be an absolute stud. I mean, we have studs. So I don't think there's going to be the type of drop-off that if you're not in tune with the Ohio State program, you're just going to think, okay, they lost 14 guys, 16, really 17 guys, 16, 17 guys to the NFL. They're not going to be as good. But I think with the coaching staff, I think with a lot of the young guys, I mean, we still have the best player on offense and the best player on defense in the country, despite the fact that we lost 17 guys to the NFL. So I think that there's going to be a lot of juice, and I think there are a lot of guys with chips on their shoulder, and a lot of guys who bought into the program. Again, evidenced by the fact that nobody left. So I think we should expect an amazing season from the Buckeyes this year.
When I want to find you, Mekka, I just look in my phone and find you. But how can other people find out what's going on? Is that Mekka Don Music? Is that where it is?
Yeah, at Mekka Don Music on all social media. Subscribe to my YouTube, which is youtube.com/Mekka Don Music, MEKKADON Music. That's where you'll be getting a lot of the updates about the documentary, when and where it'll be released. It'll probably be released on YouTube, so definitely subscribe there. And then social media, all my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it's all on at Mekka Don Music. So.
Mekka, you're the man, bud. Just start gargling some salt water and get ready to do the audiobook then, okay?
And before we go, too, I got to mention, appreciate the birds you got going on in the background. You sound like you're at Augusta National taking this call for us. So
what's funny about that?
This has been enjoyable.
Mekka he is so there's an aura about him. Everywhere he goes, inside, outside,
he's like he got a bird on his shoulder as he's doing this.
Right now, he's probably feeding the birds.
That was an outstanding segment. So relaxing.
I know, that's exactly right.
Oh, my God. I didn't know you guys could hear that, but good. I'm glad I could add a little ambiance to the segment.
It works, Mekka. It works. We appreciate it, bud. Thanks much for the time. We'll talk next week.
See ya.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. That was Mekka Don. Buckle up, folks. Got the book coming out. Now I had more stuff on his plate with the audio book.
Hey, you should do this. Why don't you do an audio book, Tito? Stop putting stuff on other people's
I've got a third grade reading level. What am I going to do? Hop on Pop, green eggs and ham, something like
audio.
That? That's what I could do. By the way, no one likes hearing my voice on the radio, let alone are they going to go purchase something or download something to hear my voice more.
That's a really good point.
As a matter of fact, I'll do a GoFundMe for me not to do an audiobook.
See, this is again you deflecting. This is you breaking up with everybody about the book before they tell you they don't want you to write one.
Stephanie Kaler, I don't want to go out with you in the 8th grade.
Yeah, don't
I'm
even
not
ask.
doing it.
Let's get in front of this before it happens.
Coming up next, there were certainly some surprises in the NFL draft not involving Shador. We'll reveal some of those next. This is Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
We're known for 3 things: games, conversation, and Common Man yelling about things only he cares about. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. You know how annoyed people get when they worry about their sump pump?
The sump pump grump.
Get Eco.
They try whacking it to see if it'll start.
A technique known as the sump pump thump, I believe.
Or they feel around to see if something inside is clogged.
That would be a sump pump clump.
Get Eco.
But the last thing they want is to be caught in a rainstorm or a snowmelt with the flooded basement because the stupid thing didn't work.
No one wants to be a sump pump chump, Aaron.
That's why we have the $89 sump pump inspection. We check your pump, your battery backup, and all the downspouts and drains along the way to make sure everything is running clear.
All that for just one small sump pump lump sum.
Absolutely. Shouldn't you be out inventing things?
I'm in a bit of a slump.
Get Eco. Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Here on The Fan, we talk about getting rid of joint pain with the regenerative experts at QC Kinetics. There's no surgery, no downtime, just your body's own healing properties working to give you relief. So you can enjoy doing the activities that you love, like the fastest growing sport in the country. That's pickleball. And here in the Columbus area, QC Kinetics is proud to be a sponsor of Paddle Tap's Pickleball Club. Learn, grow your skills, challenge yourself, and meet other pickleball players. Paddle Tap's Pickleball Club features the ultimate indoor facility with 16 state-of-the-art courts. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, Paddle Tap welcomes all skill levels. See what you're missing. Call Paddle Taps and mention QC Kinetics, and you'll get 1 hour of free play, courtesy of QC Kinetics, the people who take care of those achy joints, so you can play for years to come. For details, go to pbtaps.com. That's pbtaps.com. pbtaps.com.
Many drugs, like cocaine, methamphetamine, and non-prescription pills, are often cut with dangerous opioids like fentanyl. As a result, nearly 14 Ohioans die daily from unintentional overdoses. That's why it's important to carry naloxone, such as Narcan, a life-saving medication that blocks the effects of fentanyl and other opioids. Over the last 5 years, naloxone has saved over 83,000 lives. Help save lives and visit naloxone.ohio.gov to learn more and find free naloxone. Remember, if you see an overdose occurring, always call 911.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by two things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your four-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Guess what? Our ugly faces are on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan and watch all your favorite shows. Laptop, phone, tablet, smart TV, we're everywhere. Bring us in the bedroom with you. Yes, The Fan.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We lowered prices and give you a 5-year price guarantee on talk, text, and data. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Picture this. You walk into a Tim Hortons and get a warm toasted English muffin or a buttery biscuit layered with fluffy fresh cracked eggs, melty cheese, and savory sausage or bacon. Now imagine that breakfast sandwich for just $3 when you buy any size coffee, hot or cold, because when you're running on empty, you want a breakfast that does more than just fills you up. So start your morning with Tim's, because you deserve a breakfast that's as good as your day is going to be. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants. Offer valid only during breakfast hours. Exclusions apply. Additional terms apply.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
During weekend programming, pants are optional.
Look at my butt!
However, leather chairs may have been a bad choice. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday. I got to tell you, Dave, I don't like talking about myself very often.
Okay.
That's a lie.
I know.
But last night, Scotty Vegas, Baker, and I went out to a sports trivia tournament, sports trivia contest. And there were 60 different tables of 10 there. And Phillip Rivers was there, by the way. He showed up at this church, and he was talking about. He's one of the. They had like a variety of guests that were there. He was one of them.
What?
Yeah, Phillip Rivers was there. Dennis Hobson was there, the former Buckeye great basketball player. Vaughn Broadnax, former Buckeye. I'm trying to think who else was there. There was a running back who played at Notre Dame. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but from Notre Dame from years past was there also. Reggie Brooks, that's who it was. Anyway, they were all out there, and we ended up winning the tournament. We had the highest score, won it. And it was a great time out there. But here is what the key for me was. Thank you. There's a guy named Scott Pritchard.
You didn't ask for that at all.
No, I didn't. Scott Pritchard is his name. Scott Pritchard, who I've known since I was about 6 years old. Haven't seen him in probably 35 years. He was there. Came up to me. I recognized him right away, gave him a hug. He was on an opposing team, and we won. This is why that's important. And no one's going to care about this but me, but that's okay. I do this radio show for myself.
That's this 3-hour show. Yep.
Yes, that's my life. When I was 7 years old, playing for a soccer team called the Hounds, and we were bad. We got beat by Scott Pritchard's team, who played for the Cheetahs, a much cooler name than the Hounds. They beat us 13-1. Scott and his friend Mario, they literally had, the name of their offense was Mario and Scott's, what they called it. They scored all 13 goals, I believe. And I've been trying to avenge that loss since I was 7 years old. Now, tomorrow I turned 54. 47 years later, I got revenge on Scott Pritchard.
Man,
that's the applause thing again, but thank you.
Does he remember that there was an issue here?
No, they won a lot of games. I don't think he knew it. Look, I love the guy. He's a great guy.
How long into the show are we? We're unpacking some like stuff you got going on, Tito, that you need to let go like a long time ago.
I'm just saying, look, he's a great guy. This is a problem I have. He's more successful. He's aged better.
But you've been vilifying
athletic.
Pritchard in your head for 35 years?
No, 45 years almost. Yeah, 46 years almost. 47. Yes, it's been there. Mario and Scott. I think Mario wanted to be a really good high school wrestler here too. I don't know if he went to college or not and did wrestling, but Mario and Scott, let me tell you how good their team was. At the end of the season, the rest of the league's all-stars played the Cheetahs, and they kicked our butts. Like, you took the two best players on every team in the rest of that league and put them against the Cheetahs, and Mario and Scott killed us.
Well, congrats to you, Tito. I'm glad you got that monkey off your back and finally showed Pritchard or put him in his place.
No, I didn't, but you know what? And I was a little disappointed he didn't stick around afterwards.
Classic Pritchard.
Yeah, that's Scotty for you. Yep. If we got up there on the stage and got our trophy. Here's the funny thing, too. We get up there on the stage, and they give us this huge trophy. I mean, this thing is nice. And we're carrying it around. And we're getting ready to leave. This is like an hour after things ended. And we're walking out with the trophy. And the organizer comes over and says, the trophy stays. Like, what? I said, yeah, the trophy stays. We'll put you guys, your name on it, your team name on it, and it's for display every year. You don't get to take the trophy home. I was shattered.
Trophy stays.
Yeah, I know. But actually, we negotiated with them, and we brought it in because Scotty had it in here for the fan call-in show when he and Baker were doing it. They had it right there front and center in front of the Coors stuff, and it's a beautiful thing. The trophy was beautiful, and we had a lot of fun doing it, but. Yeah, it was a good time last night. Yeah, Phillip Rivers I was surprised he was there also, but I guess he brings his kids up to this camp at this church every year from Alabama. He brings in, I don't know, he's got like 14 children. He said usually 3 or 4. I think this year I might have 4 or 5 coming up, which I guess you can do that if you got like 11 kids.
They're just numbers.
I think they're numbers.
Didn't he stop naming them?
Yeah, he said
I think 6 and 10 are going to come up. 9 might meet us a little bit later. Right. But, 3 loves this camp.
I think he calls 3 trips.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyway, that's what the night was like. I had a lot of fun. And now we're at the end of the segment, and I didn't say anything about the surprises in the draft. So we'll have to do that later on in the show. We've got plenty of time to talk draft, too, by the way. We'll do a lot of that later on.
Poor Pritchard just caught strays entire
No, I don't even
segment.
It's not that I love.
Just because you wanted to say you wanted trivia,
I'm just telling you, the Hounds got their revenge last night on the Cheetahs. That's all I'm saying. Right. Hounds beat Cheetahs last night. I still love Scott Pritchard. I needed that. I now, and I don't want to say this now because I'm already old and I'm turning 54, like I said. Now I can die. I can die in peace.
Okay, well, don't do it right here.
Not right here. You got to wait till at least about 2:35 or so. Coming up next, updates on what's happening today. We'll talk NBA and NHL also. We'll do that next. This is Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here in The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
It's the final days of Diamonds Direct's annual spring sale. This is your last chance to get an extra 20% off our already renowned prices. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off your purchase. But hurry, these savings end soon. And this weekend only, we're open Sunday to give you an extra day to shop our expanded selection of trending engagement ring settings, his and hers wedding bands, must-have fine jewelry, and more. Time is running out. 20% off, store-wide savings. Visit DiamondsDirect.com for details.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
With rates lower than the national average, plus special rates on balance transfers, a BMI Federal Credit Union Visa Platinum or Visa with Rewards credit card would be the perfect card for your wallet. Visit bmifcu.org/visa for more details and to apply today.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
Forever starts with the perfect diamond. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Seller, and for over 78 years, our family has helped generations of couples celebrate love with brilliance, quality, and unbeatable prices. At Diamond Seller, bigger diamonds and better prices are our promise to you. Whether you're popping the question or upgrading your sparkle, trust the experts. Because diamonds, they're our forte. Visit us at Diamond Seller on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center and learn more at diamondseller.com.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Nate Pooterball. The Ohio State Buckeyes tied a school record yesterday with 14 players selected in the 2025 NFL Draft, falling just one short of the NFL record. Jack Sawyer and Will Howard will reunite in Pittsburgh, while Cody Simon and Denzel Burke team up in Arizona. The Cavs hand the Heat their worst playoff loss ever with a 37-point victory last night, 124-87, taking a commanding 3-0 lead in the NBA playoffs. The Cavs look to wrap up the series Monday night in Miami. The Cleveland Guardians split a doubleheader with the Cardinals yesterday, winning Game 1 5-4 and dropping the nightcap 7-3. The Cincinnati Reds won Game 2 of their series with the Colorado Rockies 6-4. That's the final game of the series at 3:10 today on The Fan. And the Columbus Crew SC knock off the San Jose Earthquakes 2-1. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Sports talk, weekend style. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, it's Fan Sports Sunday. Tito and Dane with you. I feel a lot better. I feel cleansed. You want anything you want to share with any kind of notes you may have received in the break there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I'm in the minority of thinking that it's over the top for you to still be holding this grudge against Dean Pritchard.
Scott Pritchard.
Well, you know.
I know.
It's Dean Pritchard.
I know.
At 54 for schooling him in trivia, because I'm getting text from somebody who lives with me that says, who also had a 4th grade swimming rival.
Okay.
And this is my wife I'm talking about. And she said, if I could beat her in trivia at 54, I'd feel dang good about it.
See?
So maybe I'm in the minority here.
What's that?
Beat a man! Woo! You gotta beat the man!
That's a good one there.
So sorry to everybody out there who was cursing their radio saying, like, no, I've got that guy in my head right now, and if I could get him in trivia.
You don't have anybody in your mind like that?
You know, I think I've cleansed myself of that.
Right.
Probably because I played sports for so long, Tito.
And you were successful at it.
That's the thing. And it sounds like a humble brag.
No,
but
I'll brag
one
for you,
One of the things is I don't really carry that with me. So I'm sorry for not empathizing, understanding you more. I should have known that about you. And I took an arrogant approach to it, and I'm sorry.
That's apology accepted. That's okay. We all make mistakes. Your wife and I both accept your apology. I'll accept on her behalf.
And I would like you. I'll say also. You said, "Oh, you married a female me." I don't want you to ever say that to me again.
I just want you to just think about that next time you're with your wife.
I don't want to. No.
Just kind of say, no, I'm not saying. I didn't say with. I didn't say with.
Okay, let's move on.
I said with your wife. Just remember.
I mean, I like you, but
sounds like you would like me. You like your wife.
I like you, man.
This is what they've got a recording of when we walked in last night to the trivia, and this was what I said.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
We barely won, by the way. We won by a couple of questions is all we won by, but it was fun. Okay, NBA, there is a quadrant, I don't know if that's the way you use it or not, of games today. We have got the...
are you saying there's 4?
There's 4. That's a fancy way of saying 4. I can say a quadrant of 4, can't I?
Not unless you have them all on your TV at the same time, but...
There's a quadrilateral of games. How about that? Is that better, Dave?
A quartet.
Okay, quartet. See, now you sound pretentious. Knicks play Detroit at 1 o'clock. Knicks lead that series 2-1. That's in Detroit. The Lakers are at Minnesota at 3:30. Lakers are down in that series 2-1. Indianapolis, the Indiana Pacers, I should say, are in Milwaukee at 9:30. That series 2-1 Indianapolis. By the way, before that, though, Boston takes on Orlando in Orlando. Celtics lead that series 2-1. They won the first 2 at home, then lost at Orlando after that. The Cavs are dominating in their series against the Heat, and they will try to wrap that up tomorrow night. They play at 7:30 in Miami. Also tomorrow night is Houston Golden State at 10 o'clock. Golden State holds a 2-1 lead there. Golden State got a big win there against Houston yesterday. But all right, let's go back to the NFL draft, though, briefly. And we all know about Shedeur Sanders dropping in the draft. And I've heard a lot of arguments. I found this to be interesting, at least, Dane, that when people were talking about, experts are talking about why he drops and why he wasn't, a first round pick and why he waited to the 5th round and all this. And some people said, the opinion of some people was, well, he dropped, but did he really drop? Because the only people who had him going in the top 3 were like all these experts that do mock drafts. You know what I mean? Like nobody. What he's saying is very subjective. If you think that Shedeur is going to go 3rd or 9th to the Saints or 21st to the Steelers, whatever. Now, these guys like Kuiper, reporters and things like that, are doing that based off the conversations they have with teams. And is it fair to say he dropped or he slid? Shedeur defenders were being very sensitive, I think, about that. I think it's safe to I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And I believe that I feel very confident in saying Shedeur Sanders dropped massively in the draft than where I thought he would go.
Yeah, I don't think that's really a debate, because I think those are the guys that have made a career out of this. I don't know another example offhand of a first round projection
right
that drops all the way to the 5th. Sure, second, maybe you fall out of the first round. The team that you would fall high on their list, they go a different direction. But on some level, the draft it's a marketplace, and you're going to take the value if it's there. I'm still baffled by it. I haven't followed as much as some people on what the theories are on what went on there, but it is very rare, one, that you would miss on predicting that if you're saying that Mel Kiper and that group was just wrong and he wasn't a first-round talent. That seems like it'd be rare. And to fall all the way to the 5th round if you have first-round talent is that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. I mean, even if you had bad interviews or whatever it might be, there's so many teams that are going to take that value.
Sure.
Because you can get it at that point. If it's first-round talent, it's cheap in late second round, third round, if that's what you think it is. So that'll be, I mean, that's obviously going to be one of the biggest stories coming out of this draft, and I'm sure more will come out. I don't have an answer. It doesn't make sense to me.
Roger Goodell has said he wants to explore shortening the draft, and by that, not shortening the number of rounds, but the time. The first round, you get 10 minutes right now. He wants to shorten it to 7 minutes in the first round is one of the things, the ideas he threw out there, with an opportunity one time in the first round to use a 2-minute bonus time. Like if you get down to it, you can say, well, we want to use our 2-minute bonus time right now. You can use that to get 9 minutes for that. It's funny to me, Dane, and because I'm I like researching the history of football and whatnot. There used to be 20 plus rounds in the draft. It used to be like a 27-round draft and things like that. And that's when you get guys that never played football in college get drafted by an NFL team. Guys like Dave Winfield, I don't think he ever played college football. He was a baseball player and basketball player for Minnesota Golden Gophers. He got drafted there in football. You would see guys like that. I think that will get drafted late, and just in case they decide to take up the sport at some point, you'd have their draft rights. And they got the clock now on this. There was a time in 1964, back then, there was no clock. You could take as long as you wanted to make a pick. And the Dallas Cowboys one time took 6 hours to make their pick. And the whole draft itself, it took 22 hours to complete 20 rounds. But yeah, 6 hours on one pick for the Cowboys.
That is, it's wild that they, and by they, I mean the NFL and Roger Goodell, are turning the draft itself into a game.
Oh,
I mean, it's obviously always been that way, but now you're talking about, you only make those changes to make it more entertaining, to make it, or not even entertaining, to be more TV friendly, to have less fill time. So let's have these guys, these teams or companies make multi-million-dollar decisions. Let's give them 5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting TV, but it's really funny that even in the offseason, they try to capture this TV market, compete with the NBA by making a game out of your draft. It would be, I mean, yes, the shorter you get it, if you get to 5 minutes, I mean, that's, I don't know, what did he propose? 7 minutes?
7 minutes from 10.
Okay.
And by the way, the Combine was born, part of the reason, because way back when, they didn't do the research they do now. All you relied on was the things the school sent you, like the stats and the measurements and everything. And there was a time the Lions, I can't remember what year it was, they drafted a guy in the first round, sight unseen. And they go out to meet him, and he was like 2.5 inches shorter.
He catfished him?
Than they had listed, yes. And they told
never
he was.
Played.
I don't think he ever played for him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, right. I didn't ever play for the Lions, I don't think, though. Yeah, like they used a first-round pick on a guy and then go out there to meet him, and turns out he's like 2.5 inches shorter than what was listed by the team.
I mean, I will say they've gone a little bit far with the Combine. As somebody who's been there, stood in my underwear and been measured, I'll pass on that, boys. Just watch the tape. I think we've gone a little bit far. Stop. You're not measuring my hands, okay? That's where I draw the line.
Right. Measure the hands. I know.
Just stop. Yeah, there's probably a sweet spot. I know doing your research, but I don't know. That's probably part of why the NFLPA, at least they were for a little bit, we're trying to say, hey, we're actually not going to do the Combine anymore because it can only be a disservice to players. You usually work yourself out of a position at the Combine more than you work yourself up.
There's a very small sample size, though, of players that are Combine all-stars because they measure great in all this, but they don't have the tape. Like you watch their tape, it's like that guy's like, you see him, oh my God, this guy is 6'6", 350 pounds, and he can run a 40 and 4.7.
You're a big sports trivia guy.
Yeah.
As you mentioned.
Right.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
Got one for you. Who is number 7 all time in combine history in the 3-cone drill? All time.
I feel like I should be saying Dane Sanzenbacher.
But that would be ridiculous, right?
Dane Sanzenbacher.
Ding,
Is it
ding,
right?
ding.
There we go. See?
And you know how much that matters, Tito?
I
sat on my couch for 7 rounds and the phone didn't ring.
I remember, though, there was one game he got into when they had the 3 cones out there in the game. Like, somehow just miraculously.
Yeah. They did. They snapped the ball, and they were like, hold on. They put the cones on there.
They said, Dave, we're running a 3-cone play. You're like, this is right in my wheelhouse.
I was like, what?
I got it.
I got it, boys.
Yes,
Clear out.
That's what it is.
I'm all out of bubble gum.
That was the play. And then they had that one lineman run 40 yards as fast as he could.
Mm-hmm.
That was another good one, too.
Yeah, it's super important that you measured my hands, made me running cones, and then didn't draft me. Thanks. The disrespect. I only get more disrespected on this show. But beside that,
if you could now beat NFL evaluators in a trivia contest, I think you'd feel much better about yourself. That's all you got to do. Get them all in a room and beat them in a sports trivia contest. Coming up next, we'll check in with our good friend Aaron Portzline as the CBJ are heading towards an interesting offseason. We'll do that next Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And well, we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Hey Sports Cards fans, I'm Jeff with my buddy Adam, and we run Huggy Kissy Bear breaks on the Whatnot app. What's a card break? Simple. We open boxes of cards live, you pick your team, and we send you all the hits. With over 2,300 5-star reviews, we're all about you. New to card breaks? No sweat. We've got you covered with a sweet welcome package from us. Download the Whatnot app and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to view all of our past Sugar Bear hits. Huggy Kissy Bear breaks, where collectors win big.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. At Giant Eagle, we combine exceptional customer service and quality foods, all at great value to make the most of your shopping trip. Visit Giant Eagle or Market District today to see how easy it is to save.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. April's a great time to spruce up around your house, like getting rid of those old, ugly, drafty, hard-to-open windows and starting fresh. Especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. There's no limit to how much you could save, and if you buy a house full of windows, they'll include a free entry door, too. Plus, with 0% financing, 0 down, and no monthly payments, you could get new windows and pay nothing until 2027. How do they do it? Well, Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation to build windows to their high-quality specs. Then they pass the savings on to you. You'll protect your home with some of the best windows you can buy at a fraction of the price of those other brands. Just imagine what you could do with all that extra money. Hurry, the sale ends soon, so don't miss your chance to take advantage of the Buy 4, Get 4 free and pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. One more time, that's Buy 4, Get 4 free from Window Nation, 866-90NATION or windownation.com.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
The Fan at 1460 ESPN Columbus is your radio home for Sunday Night Baseball.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Call The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling today at 614-232-2222.
The Fan.
Let's go to the floor with some late-breaking developments on the markets. Jim?
Up things are down things are up.
Sounds like things
You don't understand. Right is left, lemons are sweet, spaghetti is cold, the milk is warm.
Okay, but are you seeing anything that maybe smart-minded money people should know about?
Yeah. Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Probably one of the most stable things you can do is an Apex Pros air conditioner tune-up.
Air conditioner tune-ups, you say?
Oh yeah, Apex Pros knows most expensive summer breakdowns can be prevented by getting a tune-up now.
Yes, it's known that a tuned-up AC lowers energy bills, which is important to...
Oh, this is unbelievable.
What, big sell-off? Huge increase?
No, I spilled coffee on my new shirt. Anyway, tune-up save on energy bills, plus make your air conditioner last years longer.
Good to know Apex Pros keeps things stable and predictable.
That's on my pants, too. This is the worst day. This is historic. You know that.
No doubt about it. Columbus loves Apex Pros. The pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. April is a great time to spruce up around your house, especially during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now. There's no limit to how much you could save, and if you buy a house full of windows, they'll include a free entry door, too. Plus, you could get new windows and pay nothing until 2027. Just imagine what you could do with all that extra money. Hurry, the sale ends soon, so don't wait to schedule your estimate. Call them today, 866-90NATION, or visit windownation.com. Once again, that's 866-90NATION, or visit windownation.com.
This spring, celebrate the women who made you, raised you, and stood by you. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. For over 78 years, whether it's for Mother's Day, an anniversary, graduation, or just because, we've had the perfect gifts for the women who mean the world to you. At Diamond Cellar, you'll find timeless jewelry they'll cherish forever because every woman deserves a little sparkle. For all your spring gifting needs, visit Diamond Cellar on Selma Road and at Easton Town Center, or shop online at diamondcellar.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for your Sunday. We're looking ahead to plenty of sunshine, high temperatures into the upper 60s for this afternoon. And then for tonight, mostly clear and quite cool as we dip into the lower 40s. By Monday, we're tracking more sunshine and warmer temperatures into the upper 70s for your Monday afternoon. We'll continue to warm up into the 80s here by Tuesday, but also tracking the chance for storms by Tuesday afternoon. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
Buckeye games have been airing on WBNS since before you were born and before your parents were born. And before Abraham Lincoln was born, trust me. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Your go-to destination for Buckeye football talk all year round. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
It is Fan Sports Sunday, but instead of talking Buckeye football right now, we're going to talk CBJ with our good friend Aaron Portzline joining us on the Bryant Heating and Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline. Porty, I looked around. I didn't see a card for this, but I guess I've got to, I need to wish you a happy belated kidneyversary. Was that yesterday?
It was yesterday. Yes. 1 year with a third kidney.
And you went out and celebrated. I saw that. It had to be pretty special for you.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it was great. Lindy Knoll was the donor. She works for the Blue Jackets. My family, her and her fiance met. Went to a very nice restaurant in German Village, Cento, highly recommended, and ran into a couple of, oddly enough, as fate would have it, a couple of Blue Jackets players while we were there. Kind of came full circle. But, yeah, it was a very nice celebration.
Very cool, Porty. Yeah, that's it's very nice that she was it's amazing she was able to do that and help you out. She could be around with us for quite a bit longer. Porty, as we get into the offseason now with the CBJ, and I'm curious, what do you think is going, is there going to be a big, is there a big move first or some kind of move you're anticipating first to happen with this Jackets team?
Well, I think the summer kind of has its course here. I don't expect there's going to be any major trades, any big shocking moves like that until the playoffs have wrapped. Typically, that's the case. Maybe during the Cup Finals, I think teams start to really get into things. I think our first indication of how the summer might go here for Columbus or how certain moves may be handled is you look at the UFAs, the Sean Corrales, the Dan Fords, and there's several of them. Van Riemsdyk certainly at 16 goals this year. What do they do with these guys? Do they look at their minor league team, which is still playing, and see some guys that they feel are ready for that next step. James Malatesta had a big goal last night. Luca Del Bel Baluz had 27 goals, played very well while he was here. So are those guys staying? Are those guys moving on? And then I think we'll also start to see some contract negotiations. There are guys who need new contracts. There are guys who, as of July 1st, can sign extensions. Boone Jenner among those. He's not due one, but he's heading into the last year of his contract, so he could sign one. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a very active summer. I think the really fun stuff, new players coming into the organization, trades, that kind of stuff is going to be at the draft in late June and probably free agency July 1st and the next few days after that. I think Don Waddell wants to be very active and bold. I think he recognizes the foundation he has here, both with the veterans and with the young players who really emerged this year. But I don't think he's in sit back and just let this grow mold. I think he wants to help this group and fast track it into a team that's not just trying to make the playoffs, but expects to make the playoffs.
Hey, Aaron, first and I guess foremost, congrats on a year with the healthy kidney. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I've got family friends who've gone through something similar, and it's no joke. So that's something to be celebrated. Number two, I asked Tito before we went on air if what do I call you? I said, do I call him Porty? He said, yeah, call him Porty. But I'm going to go with Aaron until I'm given permission that Porty's okay. Because
I gave him permission.
It's not your permission to give, sir. So
yeah, none. I get Porty, I get Portsy, I get AP.
I like AP. That will make us seem really chummy.
Right. I mean, what does Dane Sanzenbacher go by? There's a lot of opportunities for great nicknames there.
I usually either go by Dane or somebody mistakes me as a kicker or something, and I go by whatever they think.
Morton.
Yeah.
Didn't they used to call you Hansenbacher?
That would be clever. I've never heard that.
I think they did. You're right, Porty. I think that was the nickname. Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, AP, you mentioned a couple things as far as where we could expect some shakeups, guys looking at contracts, trade, minor league, but you also mentioned the draft coming up in June, and maybe it's a little too soon to talk about it. But 2 first-round picks for the Jackets this year, is that correct?
That is correct.
And do you think that they'll keep both of them?
I would be shocked if they went to the podium, the dais, whatever you want to call it, and selected both players. Shocked.
Okay.
I don't know what is going to be out there this year. I think it's a decent draft, not an incredible draft, but there's almost always a market for first-round draft picks. One of the things that's probably going to dial back the value of those draft picks maybe a little bit is the fact that the salary cap after the whole sort of the COVID blow and then sort of the reaction, the response to that, the salary cap is finally starting to go up again. So teams do have a little more, cap space, whereas in years past they were really stressed. I think Don Waddell really wants to fix the red line back, so the defenseman and the goaltending. I think there's an understanding becoming pretty clear here that goaltending room is going to look really different next year. Jet Greaves will be part of that, but I think they want to bring in a veteran to play with him. So I think there's that. I think the whole back end needs to be reshaped. I think they recognize that. Provorov may be moving along. If he does, they're going to need certainly a proven veteran and a minutes muncher to replace him. So there are lots of avenues for the first-round picks to be used, but I would be shocked, frankly, if they used both of them. I think there's even a chance they don't use either of them, frankly. But yes, I think that's a fair bet.
Aaron Portzline from The Athletic joins us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. I've been saying for years, The Athletic. Look, I grew up reading the newspaper, the sports page in the morning with my cereal as a kid, and now I wake up with my morning coffee and read The Athletic. That's what you got to do. There's a lot of great writers on there. Go and subscribe. Porty among that stable of writers that puts out great content all the time. Porty, I know you talked to Dean Evison and obviously Waddell when they first got here early in the season. and what they thought it was obviously a very tumultuous offseason, but and I'm sure they had expectations and kind of a time frame, a timeline on how they wanted to do this. Would they say now, you think, or do you think now that they've got a accelerated timeline based on how successful this season was?
Yeah, well, you know what? So rebuilding is such a messy process, right? Like, look at Buffalo, look at what Detroit's going through. Ottawa's finally blooming this year. I think Columbus feels, and they should, that their process really moved along this year. But I don't think Don Waddell came here thinking rebuild. I think part of the attraction for him and for Everson is the fact that I don't want to say the hard part of the rebuild was done, but that first year's kind of fun, and then the second and the third year and beginning with those two can really start to get long and painful, where you don't really see the direction or you don't see light at the end of the tunnel. I think the way that these guys bloomed this year, I mean, Fantilli, 31 goals, Marchenko, 31 goals. This is no longer promise. This is players delivering on their potential. Kent Johnson, almost a point a game guy. Matejchuk I think is going to be on the NHL all-rookie team. He looks like he's a bona fide top four. We could go on with these guys, Sillinger, Voronkov. I mean, all of these young guys, with the exception of Igor Chinikov, they all look like bona fide NHL players, and in some cases, game changers this year. So now they've got a read on the organization, but I don't think Don Waddell even came here with the idea of rebuilding. I think he came here to get this thing going as quickly as he could, but he didn't want to be reckless either. And reckless would have been moving on from the Kent Johnsons, the Voronkovs, the guys who you could start to see it arrive, but it wasn't there consistently yet. Now I think he's got a grip on this. I think next year, there's no question, they're going to go into training camp thinking a challenge for the Metro and make the playoffs. And I feel like that's going to be a reasonable goal, where this year you just were hoping to see the young guys develop and look like they could be big-time players. And that's exactly what we saw.
Porty, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for taking the time. And now, you got a little bit of time. Let's not forget about your fantasy football prep, okay?
No, I'm going to start. Did Shedeur go off the board yet?
He has. I don't know if he has yet or not. We'll let you know, but he should be your first-round pick no matter what.
There you go.
Right.
Hey, guys, thanks for having me. Thanks for the kind words.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Aaron. And thanks for using the term minute muncher. I enjoyed that. I don't want to let that go by without mention.
Hansenbach.
There we go. That's going to stick. All right, 40. Thanks. We'll talk again soon. I love talking to him. Coming up next in 2 minutes, has the NFL turned into the Grinch? We'll do that next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
When you're a AAA member, we do the hard stuff for you. So picture this. You're taking a road trip through the mountains at night, and you run out of gas. Do you, A, call AAA, or B, walk 29 miles to the nearest gas station in the pouring rain?
A?
On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Wendy's has this new Cajun Crunch chicken sandwich. And to be honest, I'm kind of crushing hard on this Sammy. It's packed with bold Cajun flavors and topped with crispy onions for a satisfying crunch. All on Wendy's iconic spicy chicken sandwich. It's honestly kind of my dream sandwich. I hope it likes me back. For a sandwich you'll love, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
It's your lucky day, because at Speedway, there's a $5,000 winner every single day. All you do is shop with Speedy Rewards. Then play the in-app game for a chance to win $5,000 in cash. So you could win $5K today, or the next day, or the next day, or the next... Okay, you get it. New daily cash winners only at Speedway. Are you next? No purchase necessary. Ends 1/6/26 USDC 16 plus. For official rules and free gameplay, go to 5k-a-day.com/rules.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling. and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at ChangeTheGameOhio.org. That's ChangeTheGameOhio.org.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. It's sports conversation, but with a drink and umbrella as a garnish. This is Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, indeed it is Fan Sports Sunday. Tito, Dane, Hansenbacher here as well. Here. Nate running things back there. And so the NFL is doing something now that I saw coming. And anybody who follows sports media should have seen coming. The NFL dipped their toe in the waters of a couple of Christmas Day games on non-traditional football days. Now, there has been football on Christmas before, but usually it was a postseason game. There was a famous, I think it was Chiefs-Dolphins playoff game that went like 3 overtimes or 2 overtimes on Christmas Day one time. But for the most part, the NFL had stayed away from Christmas Day. But in recent years now, the NFL has started to say, you know what, let's do this. Let's do some Christmas Day games. And they had 2 games last year. Even though the day was on a Wednesday, they had 2 Christmas Day games last year on a Wednesday. They adjust the schedule a little bit. It was the first time the NFL scheduled on a Wednesday since 1925, but there were some rescheduled games back during the COVID years. But now the NFL's come out, and although the NBA typically has owned Christmas Day, the NFL, Roger Goodell said on Friday that he wants to have 3 games on Christmas every single year. Now, the Chiefs have volunteered to be one of the hosts, much like the Lions and Cowboys are the Thanksgiving Day hosts no matter what. The Chiefs have said that they want to be one of the teams considered to be the everyday. I don't want to have an annual, like a couple teams locked in on Christmas. It's going to work fine the next few years, Dane, because Christmas Day this year falls on a Thursday. Shouldn't be too hard. They won't have to adjust the schedule at all for that because you'll have Thursday games every week with teams. They play next year on the 20th. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's on a Friday this year. I apologize. I got that wrong. Friday this year. It's a Saturday next year in 2027. Easy again. Then Monday in 2028. So the next 3 years are fairly easy on that. Then we get into like the Tuesdays, Wednesdays again. They have to mess around with a little bit. But the next 3 years with Friday, Saturday, and then a Monday, that's easy for the NFL to do that. And look, if I'm the NBA, I blink right now. I try to own December 26th or December 24th, or something else. But
you think you just give it away?
Look, there's no way they'll compete with NFL right now. No way. Or maybe scale back your schedule to 2 Christmas Day games so you still have a placeholder there in case you want to expand it again. But look, people watched, and I said this to Mekka, I think people watched or were more intrigued by the draft than the NBA. In his first round NBA playoffs, I get it, but I think people are more intrigued by the draft or by NFL football, live games at the end of the season versus mid-season, early season NBA games.
3 games. When's my family time, Roger?
Halftime. Get it done early, halftime. Or here, this is what you do. You travel west for the holidays. And now the games are like 10 a.m., 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and then you've got the evening after that.
I do like the idea of Roger as the Grinch stealing Christmas, though.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's what he's stealing from the NBA. It's what he's doing. And it's smart. I don't blame him one bit for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, the NFL.
5 o'clock, another NFL game. 6 o'clock, jazzercise.
Look at that. That's a pretty good Grinch right there.
7 o'clock, dinner by myself again. Can't miss that.
It sounds like the Grinch being done by Lorne Michaels of Saturday Night Live. That's what it sounds like right there.
Okay.
And by the way that people imitate Lorne Michaels, that's what it sounds like. Not necessarily Lorne Michaels, the way Saturday Night Live cast members have imitated him.
No, it was my best Goodell as the Grinch.
That's fine. We
Thank
can do
you.
that too. You're welcome.
But yeah,
there we go.
You're a vile one.
There we go.
Mr. Grinch. You have termites.
Family dinner? How about another football game?
I'm saying, like, hey, kids, we're opening up gifts. What time? Kind of depends on the halftime show. It depends because, look, Lil Wayne's not doing this one. He's doing the next one. We're not doing the next one. I got to watch Lil Wayne. But on this one, yeah, we can do it. It's Kesha.
Oh, my God.
How old do I sound there?
Every bit of 55.
54? Okay, that's fine. Anyway, but yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. We get a lot of our Christmas stuff out of the way early. And our society has changed with the options we've got. Things have changed. There's no longer for most people, at least I believe, no one here in Central Ohio, not many people sort of go out. I do know one guy who does it. Go out and chop down the Christmas tree and bring it home and spend the entire Christmas day without electronics on, no TV, listening to Christmas music the entire day. If my family tried to do that, we would kill each other. You've got to have something on.
The Christmas Story.
By the way, I'm in a better mood now since the Scott Pritchard thing got resolved. So maybe this year will be different. But yeah, so that's why
don't bring that back up.
I'll let it go.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not surprised, although the NFL is going to do this. So are you?
No, God, no. We just talked about they're trying to make a game out of the draft itself to be more entertaining than their competitors. They want to own the whole year. Christmas has been there kind of for the taking. It is, I guess it was traditionally an NBA thing, but the last couple years it's felt like this is becoming NFL's day. It does not surprise me at all that they would try to go the full day and make that another thing, own Thanksgiving, own Christmas.
Do it all, whatever they want to do. And by the way, if the NBA all of a sudden says we're going to play Christmas Eve instead, I hope Goodell says, you know what? 3 games Christmas Eve. We're going to do that also. And just wherever the NBA goes, just go right there. We're going to play a game that day too. You know, we're going to play 2 on this day. You want Boxing Day? That's us. We're going to own Boxing Day as well. We'll play 2 games in Canada that day. That's how it's going to go.
Oh, that would be lovely.
The NFL draft, by the way, it was the second most watched. The first round was the second most watched first round ever. The average was 13.6 million viewers in the first round across TV and digital, according to the NFL. The most watched day one ever was the 2020 first round during the COVID pandemic. So it makes sense that'd be the most watched one. Right?
Yeah. No, it does. Are the numbers just going up in general?
I mean, across the board, just the NFL.
Well, I guess maybe just for the ratings in general, but that just seems like we've had some pretty big drafts.
We have.
This didn't feel like the most exciting one we've ever had.
I think that with the Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter stuff, I think was part of it. Also, we know what the most rabid fan base is in college football. And that school had 14 players selected, another 3 signed as free agents. They were going for the 50. So I think there were more Ohio State fans tuning in maybe than normal years. That's my theory, which is based on
it's national rankings.
Yes, I know, but we're basing that on no scientific data or research done by me whatsoever.
I don't
which
think
is the best kind
anybody
to do.
expects that coming out of us.
That's the best way to do it.
Throwing it out there.
I had an awkward thing in the chat just now.
Oh, good.
Brian says the Hansenbacher thing going forward, which I'm with you. That's what I'm going to do with him also. But then Zeke Bucks chimes in and says, I called him, meaning you, Sassy Buckeye. Now, I didn't bring it up to you right away because I wasn't sure if it was an insult or a compliment.
Stripper name?
Look, Sassy Buckeye, I think I gave her $9 one night. And then Zeke Bucks said he called you that his whole career.
Okay.
And his friends did too. And I asked, because I was like, hey, I'm not going to say it to Dane. I'm not going to, because Lord knows the last thing I want to do is insult you in any way, shape, or form. And what Zeke said was he was just sassy, always came up with the needed play.
That equals sassy.
I guess so.
You make the play that needs done. That's like, that guy's sassy.
That guy's sassy.
Zeke's the first person in the world to ever use that in a sports context.
I
appreciate it. If they had a thing,
it was a compliment. It was a compliment.
If it's meant as a compliment, I appreciate it. That is just one I've never heard.
I would get smacked in the mouth if I was sassy by my parents, kind of thing. Long time ago, guys. I know, don't do it now.
If you called me sassy, I would say like, "What? Why are you saying that?"
Right? Yeah. If I called you,
I'll take. I mean,
if we started the show, I saw it's Sassy Buckeye to my right, out of the blue.
Oh my!
I don't think it would go. I don't think it'd go over well with you. I think you'd have an issue with that. But yeah,
it's fine.
I don't think that's terrible.
Thanks, Zeke. Yeah, no, it's not. If it was meant...
Him and his friends, they did it. They were fans of Dane.
If that was meant in as a positive...
I think it was, yes. I think it was. But no, so going back to the Christmas Day thing, though, I don't know. The ratings for the NBA used to be off the charts on Christmas Day. I know the NFL's cut into it. They cut into it last year with the doubleheader and the fact that we're full bore now with the tripleheader. All I want to do, though, and I don't think they can do this, but they do the flex scheduling thing, with the NFL and it screwed some Chargers fans, I think, last year who had planned to go to a game on a Sunday and they moved it to a Thursday a couple weeks out late in the season. And people booked flights and things like that. And then all of a sudden the NFL pulled the carpet out from underneath them and they couldn't go to the game and they had non-refundable airline money and stuff like that tied into it. But I would hope that they could at least wait, though, a month into the season before setting the games. Because I don't want dogs. I'll still watch it, so maybe that probably won't matter. But I'd rather see, and this is the other thing too, and Dane, we've talked about this. People probably hate hearing me say this. I want weather. I don't want domes. Give me a game in Madison, in Green Bay. Give me a game, in Cleveland or Pittsburgh. Give me something where I might Denver. Give me a game where I might see some snow. Or some sideways rain, some sleet, where it's dangerous to get to the game.
I agree. I wanted to disagree with you on something there just because I wanted to, but I think that's a good. If you're reserve the Christmas Day games for northern outdoor games. I played in a Christmas Day game. It was Bears Packers.
What was that like?
It was great. It was at Lambeau.
Okay, I mean, cold? Do you remember being really cold? Super cold, yeah.
Yeah, freezing. That always plays well on TV, though. Those are some of the most entertaining. I'm with you.
Yeah.
If it's going to be on Christmas, I don't need to see a dome.
Yeah, don't give me a game in Vegas. I don't need to see that. Or a game like in Jerry World. I don't need to see that.
Yeah, I want it to feel like, what's the hockey that they do?
The Stadium Series.
Yeah.
Feel like that.
I want to feel like that.
That's what I want also. And by the way, I would also put a caveat on that. If they're going to do it in a dome, they have to have fake snow brought in and open up all the doors.
Like it's a snow globe?
Yes.
Shake it up between quarters.
By the way, Zeke says it's definitely a compliment.
Thanks, Zeke. I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate that, too. Sassy Buckeye. Coming up next, Dabo has a crystal ball. We'll tell you what it said next. This is Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
Whatever you're doing right now, just know that Bo Bishop is enjoying a sip of bourbon. Even if this promo is playing in the morning, no judgment.
Sweet morning drinking.
The Fan.
Aaron, I've got an idea.
Is it a new invention?
Of course it is. That's why I'm known as Jerry the Genius.
Really? I've never heard anyone call you that.
Get Eco.
ECO. I've invented the hot water heater ambulance.
Does it have lights and sirens?
No.
It would be better if it had lights and sirens.
Get Eco.
ECO. So you agree that being without hot water is an emergency, right?
Of course I do. That's why we guarantee to replace your water heater the same day you call us.
But what if I call late in the afternoon?
Call us anytime before 5 p.m. and we'll get it installed that day.
Get Eco.
ECO. But what if after you get there, I change my mind and decide I want a tankless water heater instead of one like I had?
Then we'll install a tankless water heater for you instead of the one you had.
Same day?
Same day.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
Go to geteco.com.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for Window Nation. You know, great windows can help insulate your home. Keep the stuff that you've already got in your house inside your house, whether that's hot air in the winter, cold air in the summer. You don't want to lose that through your windows. That's why you need to get the best windows in the business, Window Nation. And right now, you can get 0 interest and 0 payments for 2 years. Pay nothing until 2027. Plus, get a free entry door when you buy a full house of windows. They have a 96% customer satisfaction rating and over 20,000 5-star reviews. Call Window Nation today, 866-90NATION, or go to windownation.com.
Here on The Fan, we talk about getting rid of joint pain with the regenerative experts at QC Kinetics. Their
There's no surgery, no downtime, just your body's own healing properties working to give you relief. So you can enjoy doing the activities that you love, like the fastest growing sport in the country. That's pickleball. And here in the Columbus area, QC Kinetics is proud to be a sponsor of Paddle Tap's Pickleball Club. Learn, grow your skills, challenge yourself, and meet other pickleball players. Paddle Tap's Pickleball Club features the ultimate indoor facility with 16 state-of-the-art courts. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, Paddle Tap welcomes all skill levels. See what you're missing. Call Paddle Taps and mention QC Kinetics, and you'll get 1 hour of free play, courtesy of QC Kinetics, the people who take care of those achy joints, so you can play for years to come. For details, go to pbtaps.com. That's pbtaps.com. pbtaps.com.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Tito and DeVere are so dedicated to their craft, they slept in the studios last night. Or they were too hungover. Whatever. It's Fan Sports Sunday.
Fan Sports Sunday. Tito, Sassy Buckeye, Dane, Hansenbach are to my right. Compliment. Dabo Sweeney. He is someone who usually fights change. He was the one who was against NIL and brought religion into it. Then he said, transfers, I'm not taking any transfers. I want people to want to be here. I don't want to go out and get somebody who went somewhere else then wants to be here. And now he's taking a few transfers now. Not like everyone else has taken a bunch, but he's taken a few now. So he's kind of eased back on that, softened his stance. Dabo came out and said that he believes that things are headed towards, this is from the story in The Athletic, probably the best era for college football, and he believes that part of that is going to be a football super league, where you will take 40 to 50 teams and make it a super league kind of thing. And he was asked by does he think it's something that will or should happen? He said both. He said it's not sustainable the way we are. It's just a matter of time. It's one of those things, even though for some of us, it's really clear to see, we've just got to go through it to get there. And part of that is, the CFP was such a dramatic change. There's been so many dramatic changes. It's almost like it's how every day or it seems like every day, but really it's, every couple of months seems like a seismic change in college sports. We had with the NIL, with the transfer portal when that came out, with the unlimited transfers kind of thing, now with when they had the COVID year, the bonus year, super senior year, whatever it was. So you had guys playing 6 or 7 years or in college for 6 or 7 years, participating in athletics on some level. And then the CFP comes in and that just blew everything away with how popular that was. Are you in favor of a super league?
What does he mean by super league? Essentially joining Big Ten, SEC, and
all
some
of them.
others?
Yeah, I guess think about the college. Think about college football like a kind of an NFL model where you've got some divisions, and you play a regular season, and you've got divisional games. You have games out of the division, and then you have playoffs, where it something like this. It might be, 16 teams or something like that, depending how they're all structured. There's a lot of ways to structure, but it's where all of a sudden it'll be one group of, like, say, 50 schools. They'll have a TV contract for those 50 schools, and all they'll play is each other.
Yeah, it sounds pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sounds like a cute solution. I like many things, I don't know how you practically fit this into the reality of athletic departments linked to higher education institutions. Like, how do you just pull football out for the Super League?
See,
that's because I don't know if you. So you just separate it all together, and
football,
that just plays in its own thing.
And if they were smart about it, Dane, they would have done that before all this realignment. Because look at how much money it's costing schools from out west to come here, and here to out west, and the travel that goes along with all that, the strain on the college students.
Oh, stop, Tito!
It's a strain.
Stop it.
Why?
Just stop. I'll let you go on with your Super League point.
Okay.
Stop. We're not going to.
Look, it makes no sense for Stanford to travel to Duke to play baseball. Just play in the Pac-10. Keep all your Pac-10 schools over there, and that's your conference for basketball, for baseball, softball, swimming, whatever, volleyball, soccer. Keep that. There's football drives everything. Everything else gets paid from football. Okay, football pays for everything else. There's no reason for USC to travel to Rutgers to play softball. It just doesn't make any sense. Say on the West Coast there. It's quicker travel. It's less money. It's less of a strain on the college athlete. I'm just like, football's a different beast. Football, it's one game a week. I know there's a lot of travel and you have to go out west or whatever. There's practices and all those different things, but football drives it all. They should have done a football super league before doing all this conference realignment and killing off the Pac-10, Pac-12 then.
Well, ideally, but I don't think it was anybody's plan or wish, I guess, from the school perspective, to go this route anyway. They're being forced into figuring this out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at it as just a league, sure.
Right.
You're going to try to create it as much of a controlled league as you can with a fair division setup. There's an endless amount of, well, not endless, but there's a handful of professional leagues. They already done it. There's the model there.
Right.
Like the NFL put people in small divisions that were regionally based on purpose.
Yeah.
You win those, you move on to, and then you're split into conferences and you play a fair playoff. Nobody ever argues about strength of schedule.
No,
it's a number game.
Right.
So yeah, ideally, if that's what you're trying to create. Now, the seismic shift is that's never, until the last 5 years, been what college football was trying to create.
Right.
But if you are going to try to create that, then you almost have to have a super league, and it seems like it's inevitable to go there. The question then, that would solve the fairness problem, but it's going to raise even more questions, I think, of how do you then have salary agreements?
Right.
How do you acquire talent? Because it doesn't make sense for any professional league in the world to just go knocking on doors and highest bidder. Every league puts a draft or something in place where you're fairly getting people's rights. Now, are you going to draft?
No, I can't. They never.
Are you going to draft at high school? All the other sports do.
They would never do that.
I'm just saying, those are the questions that will come up. But it does. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure he's not wrong, and he is talking to the people that are much more knowledgeable than we are sitting here on where things are likely going.
Mm-hmm.
It's what feels like where it's been going is like, okay, get the top programs, 40 or 50 in one league, figure out how to pool play it. or figure out how to have smaller divisions and make your, less gray area, less debate, less leaving it up to a committee. And any league would function. You're going to get a great result out of it.
I would think so. Yeah, it's something because tradition's out the window now. The tradition's gone.
Yeah, I guess that's my.
Don't ever say. I don't want anybody to say like, "Hey, we can't do that." That ruins the tradition. No, tradition's gone. Okay, tradition's gone in college football and college sports. Tradition's gone. It's just Notre Dame doesn't play Michigan every year anymore in football. Why? Because Notre Dame's got to play other games and can't afford it. They got to play the ACC schedule now and can't just play whoever they want to play. They've got a much different now non-conference. I'm sure that they're not in the conference, but they have to play ACC games now. Limits what they can do. All right, coming up next, get your call up for anything that's going on right now and later today. Next, Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, the Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Open a money market account at Kemba Financial Credit Union and enjoy 4.40% APY intro rate until 2026. That's 6 times the national average. Get the flexibility you need with easy access to your funds. Don't miss out. Offer expires April 30th, 2025. Visit Kemba.org. Restrictions apply. Advantage status and $5,000 minimum and $1 million maximum deposit required. APY equals annual percentage yield. Comparison based on FDIC average. Federally insured by NCUA.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
On April 27th in 2000, baseball lost one of its most interesting personalities. A member of the Reds Hall of Fame, a native of Reds country from Springfield, Ohio, Brooks Lawrence. Brooks pitched for the Reds in the mid-50s and won 19 games for the 56 Reds. But that's not what made him so fascinating. For one, his name wasn't really Brooks. He was named Ulysses Lawrence, but was teased so often as a kid he took the name of Brooks. And he was perhaps one of the most avid readers the game of baseball has ever known. Greek philosophers, Italian short story writers, great American novels. Brooks liked nothing more than taking the mound and then taking a good book off the shelf. April 27th, 2000, the date of Brooks Lawrence's passing, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, it's Anthony for Orthopedic One. I'm not invincible anymore. I never was, but I refuse to punt on things I still love to do. That's why over the past several years, when I've had things creep up, like back pain, shoulder issue, elbow problem, I've had it all, I've always chosen Orthopedic One. That's because Orthopedic One is Ohio's largest physician-owned orthopedic practice with 60 physicians in every specialty. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One. This is where you go to get better.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And on Nate Pooterball, the Ohio State Buckeyes tied a school record yesterday with 14 players selected in the 2025 NFL Draft, falling just one short of the NFL record. In the NHL playoffs, the Winnipeg Jets are in action, taking on the St. Louis Blues, up 2-1. They're tied at 1 at the end of the first period. In the NBA playoffs, the Knicks and Pistons square off in Game 4 with the Knicks leading the series 2-1. They lead late in the second.
The Cleveland Guardians just took the field with the Boston Red Sox. Logan Allen for the Guardians going against Brian Bello. They're scoreless in the bottom of the first. And the Cincinnati Reds are in action this afternoon looking for a sweep of the Colorado Rockies. Nick Lodolo takes the mound for the Reds going against Ryan Feltner. Catch the final game of the series at 3:10 today on The Fan. Breaking sports news when it happens on 97.1 The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Are you still in your pajamas? We are. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
Indeed, you are. It's Tito, it's Dane. Heard Nate there on the update. Lots going on in the playoffs right now. As far as the days, I mean, not a lot going on as we speak, but I'm saying busy day in the NBA. Knicks lead the Pistons 37-26 right now. That game is about halfway through the second period. Knicks lead that series 2-1. That game is in Detroit. So the Knicks looking to try to take a 3-1 lead there. 3-1 lead there. They're up by 11 in the second quarter there. We also have NHL playoff action. Winnipeg and St. Louis tied at 1 right now at the end of the first period. And later on today, you've got Carolina and New Jersey at 3:30. Washington is at Montreal at 6:30. The Kings are in Edmonton at 9:30. All those series are 2-1, so no one can wrap one up today. Carolina 2-1. Washington's up 2-1, and LA's up 2-1 on Edmonton. So all the home teams are ahead as expected in those series. Do you remember? You probably don't remember this, Dane. They used to have the first round of the NBA series would be a best of 3.
I don't remember that.
And then they moved to best of 5. And now it's best 7. The best 3 thing was the best chance for an upset somewhere because obviously you get hot and win a couple of games. That's something, but it's hard. But now you get to best 7. It's much harder to pull off the upset. I liked the best of 3 or best of 5 early on, but they'll never go back to it now because no one ever says, you know what, we're making too much money with this stuff. Let's back it up a little bit. Let's go to one fewer round of playoffs or let's have fewer playoff teams. No one ever does that, so I know it's not going back.
Let's not get greedy here.
Right?
Guys.
Yeah, right. Let's not do that. Also, Reds over the Rockies 6-4 yesterday. They're wrapping up the series today at 3:10. You heard about the fact that the Red Sox and Guardians are right now. They've taken the field, I believe, in that game. They're at the end of the first inning right now. No one has scored there yet. So we'll keep you abreast of all of that. And don't forget, we've got Chris McNeil coming on at reflog_18 is where you can find him on Twitter. He's got like 600 gazillion followers, whatever it is on there. Crew got a 2-1 win over San Jose. The Ohio State Buckeyes picked up a couple of transfers this week. They got a defensive end, Bo Atkinson from North Carolina, earlier in the week to shore up that they need depth there anyway. And you always need depth on the offensive line. We noticed that last year. Atkinson comes from Carolina, had 7.5 sacks last year, has 2 years of eligibility. Justin Terry is committed to Ohio State, the offensive lineman. He went to West Virginia last year and didn't play. He's a Pickerington kid, and he's got 4 years left. And he is 6'5", 325.
Here you go. You love a measurement.
I do. No, I totally do. Yes, I totally do. I absolutely love that. So he's going to play in the
you just bring like Taylor's tape to
just check things out.
Yeah, and when you go and watch practice or maybe go to camp.
When I tell, like when I was younger and I would say, hey, I met this girl. Yeah, what's she like? She's 5'8", 165 pounds probably. She's got 7.5-inch hands or whatever it was. I would do all the. They say, no, what's she like? Oh, I don't know, but that's her measurements. That's
how
height, weight, and,
that checks out. That's how I feel when you talk about transfers or anybody coming to Ohio State.
That's what I do.
Here's his name, here's where he's from, and here is his height, weight, circumference, bicep measurement, hand size. Okay, can we get something? Something else? It's just not a.
With basketball players, I'll add in if he has a big butt. Because I know Ohio State does well with big butt guys. Jerry Francis was a big butt guy at Ohio State. He was only 6'4" and played power forward. That was a big butt guy. That's why that's what Ohio State's team, by the way, if you're listening, Diebler, that's what your team needs. I don't care how tall they are. I don't care how much they score. Just get a guy with a big butt and watch him push people out of the way. Which is why I'm not a college basketball. One of the many reasons, I guess. I
didn't talk at all during that because I want them to be able to cut up as much as they can to use that later without me interrupting it. Because I think that will come back to bite you, that little rant there. But I'm glad you got it off your chest.
Roger Goodell wants to shorten up the draft. Finished up this past weekend. It used to be 15 minutes in between rounds, and they changed it to 10. In between the first round, I should say. Then they changed it to 10. And Goodell told Pat McAfee he wants to get it down to 7. And he said, but you can get 2 extra minutes if you need it. You can call it, but you don't get it again the rest of the draft. You get 1 extension to use during the draft. The draft went, I don't know if you watched it on Thursday. I watched it start to finish on Thursday. And it did seem to go pretty quick still, even with the 10 minutes. Teams were making their picks earlier. It seemed like the pick would be in, and it got in so quickly that TV would hold it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to make sure they get all of their time in for all their commercials and everything. So I don't see a problem with 10 minutes in the first round, as long as it's just there was more dead air, I guess, not dead air, more time where they were talking about, and really in Kuiper's case, Shadur, who he kept defending the entire draft and lamenting NFL teams and personnel for not seeing what he sees in Sanders. But I thought the draft flowed very well all 3 days. And so I don't see the need to change it down to 7 minutes. But I still, again, I'm also the same guy. I also liked when they used to do the draft in 2 days. It was like started at noon on Saturday and then again at noon on Sunday, and they would just go until midnight.
It's probably similar to the NBA switching to 7 games.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're not going to be like, well, it's good enough.
Right. Yeah.
It's good enough.
Right.
Let's not get greedy with it.
Yeah.
I think there is something they could do to make the pick is in a little more exciting than just a little graphic there.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I just thought about this as you're talking about, okay, yeah, quickening up the time clock.
Yeah.
But how can we get the pick delivered in a dramatic way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like you get the pick is in and you get the little ding.
Yeah.
And then you got to wait like 3-4 minutes until they're done talking. Like pick is in. Okay. When are they going to come out? Just somewhere like, I don't know, maybe like one of those like bank teller tubes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when you used to like deposit, it shoots up.
Right. That'd be great.
Yeah. I'd like to have like video of the people sitting there that are making the pick, shoot it up to the stage so you can watch it, and then whoever's reading it out opens it right there live.
Most of you listening have lives, I'm sure. But if you ever decide you've got time to kill, go back on YouTube, watch the 1983 NFL draft. That was the Elway and Marino one and all of that. And the way they were doing, every team had a table with like 2 people at it.
When did they stop? I remember not too long ago, they still had tables at the draft. Now it's just fans and everybody's back at their home.
Right. And most and the teams are not on site. They're like out at their own team facilities and things like that. And that's where they do it from. They called in. And so they also, you can look, they had rotary phones on every one of them. And they had ashtrays, of course. And then literally the guy would make his pick. He'd write it down on a piece of paper. He'd hold it up in the air. A guy from the NFL would come and take it from him and walk it up to Pete Rozelle. And Rozelle would have to look at it and see what it says. But yeah, you'd see guys, and you would see back then, it's still the case now, if you go long on your pick, if you miss your time, the next team can jump up in front of you.
Yeah.
And
that's still the case.
They can still but back then though, like now you can do it almost, you can do it electronically. If someone loves you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, shorten the time to 7 and add a physical component that it's not electronic. Like, you have to build in the time it takes for this guy to shoot it in the tube up. And if it doesn't get there in time, I'm sorry.
Right.
We'll never know what that pick was. It's to the next team.
You see a guy trying to spell out a name.
He's trying to spell it.
Time's on the clock.
Time's on the clock. It's still got to shoot up the tube.
He does it. Yeah, the tube thing would be great. I like that idea.
Fine, speed it up. Yeah.
That'd be
fantastic. But I think, the phone thing, the electronics, we got to dial back, go old school on how you're delivering the pick to the stage.
Right. And I think it'd be even better if we could have a random, like a penalty or a random like punishment just out of the blue where your tube would go to the wrong person, to the wrong place. And you'd have to find out which place it went to and then go back and get it and resend it before somebody takes your pick.
That's a terrible idea.
I love that idea. Think about this, man. This could be...
I think we had a good thing with tube, and I think you just...
I just blew it on that one. By the way, they also announced this during the draft. They made a big deal of announcing making an announcement about when the schedule will be released. May 14th is when they'll release the NFL schedule.
Okay.
You always have to appreciate a good announcement about the announcement.
I'm telling you, it's like heroin. Look at my arm. Put the needle right in because I can't wait for May 14th. I get so excited for schedule release day. I understand it's not rational. I get it. I can't wait to see, like the first game of the year. I can't wait to see the first week. I go through and look for the Steelers and see how often they're going to be on like local TV or whatever when I've got on 10 TV or on Fox and when they're on prime time. And I look at the holiday games I can't wait to see who's playing on Thanksgiving. And again, I'm still hoping for a weather game in that 8 o'clock game. Can't wait to see the Christmas schedule. And even though I know the schedule could change based on flex scheduling, I start planning my life around it a little bit. I cannot wait for schedule release.
Do you go to any Pittsburgh games?
If I have a friend who offers me free tickets, yes. And that happens occasionally.
I was going to say, how often?
Well,
so you never go?
No, a really good friend of mine, through a client of his.
Yeah, Scott Pritchard. Okay, go on.
No, it wasn't Scott Pritchard. We're not going to talk Scott Pritchard anymore. He had tickets to, every year, his client would give him 4 tickets to the Browns game in Pittsburgh. Fantastic seats. And then access to like this indoor club area and stuff where you go get away from the elements if you wanted to. Now, these great food options. We were right down in the first row behind the end zone. We were there when Chubb got injured against the Steelers when that was the game we went to that year. But my friend of mine, who I love dearly, got selfish on me and changed jobs. But I went like 3 times on that ticket, like doing that. I got another buddy with season tickets, and he's offered me to him one time. And I went to the Titans-Steelers opener after the Steelers won the Super Bowl.
Okay, so most of your excitement for schedule release is just getting hyped up to watch the game.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Moving things around, making sure your schedule is clear, like
that's
the
what I'm
Grinch.
doing. Yeah, totally. That's all I'm doing. Yes, and
you got to cancel dinner with yourself again, and
it's exactly what I have to do. And tell Stephanie again, hey, look,
move
I'm
your
not
jazzercise.
I'm not interested. Yes, that's what I got to do. All right, coming up next, Chris McNeil joins us. He is at reflog_18 on Twitter. Make sure you tune in for that. He's going to talk all about this Cleveland Browns draft, and we'll talk about that with him next. This is Fan Sports Sunday on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH. That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Hey Sports Cards fans, I'm Jeff with my buddy Adam, and we run Huggy Kissy Bear breaks on the Whatnot app. What's a card break? Simple. We open boxes of cards live, you pick your team, and we send you all the hits. With over 2,300 5-star reviews, we're all about you. New to card breaks? No sweat. We've got you covered with a sweet welcome package from us. Download the Whatnot app and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to view all of our past Sugar Bear hits. Huggy Kissy Bear breaks, where collectors win big.
He shoots, he scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
We have made our community a very important part of our business. One of the things that many people may not realize is that I was born and raised in Columbus. Our plant is in Columbus. All of our employees are from Ohio. And the community hears about all this stuff. And so the community trusts us.
Visit Rosati Windows by the end of this month and get 35% off all windows and doors.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes who are going above and beyond in their communities. Newman Roofing wants to recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in their towns to be recognized on 10TV and The Fan. Stay tuned as we begin announcing the selected honorees who truly embody the spirit of Newman Roofing's commitment to community.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
When you join the plus side with AAA, that's all you'll have to do. Or you could learn to change your own tire.
Hey fam, what's up? Today I'm going to teach you to change a flat. Before we start, make sure it's not raining, or hailing, or lightning.
Skip the hard work. On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Hey friends, Beamer here, and nope, I'm not passing out draft predictions today. I'm making a bolder prediction, an opportunity, one might say. How about setting a goal to lose 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180? Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, right? 40 by the 4th. Imagine this. Your scale shows 230 today. How about watching that bad boy dip to a cool 190 by Independence Day? Or maybe it's reading over 300 like my scale did. How would it feel being 260 by the 4th and on your way to losing 70 pounds? Again, like I did with Awaken 180. Looking back, it took me only 8 weeks to drop my first 40 pounds, and with the same results, you'll crush that goal by the 4th. Then ring Independence Day in, shirt off, confident, crack beer, and a burger in hand. You can celebrate reaching your goal knowing you're going to keep the weight off, all thanks to Awaken 180's free support for life. Again, 40 by the 4th may seem crazy, but you can definitely do it. Set your goal and attain it with your long-term solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here for your Sunday. We're looking ahead to plenty of sunshine, high temperatures into the upper 60s for this afternoon. And then for tonight, mostly clear and quite cool as we dip into the lower 40s. By Monday, we're tracking more sunshine and warmer temperatures into the upper 70s for your Monday afternoon. We'll continue to warm up into the 80s here by Tuesday, but also tracking the chance for storms by Tuesday afternoon. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we air all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. You're listening to The Fan. It's Sunday. We're a sports station, and we shall call it Fan Sports Sunday.
It is Fan Sports Sunday. Out of the Brian Heating Cooling System Fan Guest Hotline right now. Joined by Chris McNeil at reflog_18 on Twitter. And, Chris, the first question I'm asking, I'm sure it's one you expected. Did you have a nickname for Dane when he was in college?
I did not. Yes, that's exactly what I was expecting right off the top and coming off of this draft. I did not have a good one. I did not have a Muni Lot card made up for him or any of my memes. So I apologize, Dane. I owe you some.
That's all good, Chris. I appreciate you not having one, actually.
Porty came on earlier and said he referred to him as Hansenbacher or Hansenbacher, one or the other, which that's pretty cool. And then someone in the chat said he and his friends always called Dane the sassy Buckeye.
Very good.
It's not. It's okay.
That time and be able to come up with some of these.
Yeah, sassy Buckeye. I don't know if it's ever been used in a positive term on a football field, but they swore it was. So, but nonetheless, don't think too much about putting one together. Okay.
Okay. Chris, you know what? It's because you are so much ingrained in social media. And so I can't go on social media without seeing something about you. It's something you do on Facebook or on the X, on Twitter, whatever. And so ultimately anymore, when I see anything the Browns do, I automatically think of you. And they made the trade, and then they ended up making the picks they made. I'm curious, your thoughts when you first heard the trade was made, and then after you slept on it, how did you feel? Did you feel any differently?
Well, yeah, that's a great question because I think right off the bat with Travis Hunter, he had everybody in Cleveland kind of excited for that pick, right? And everybody was expecting it. And then you have the trade down. And the problem is, with trade downs in Cleveland is, hey, great, we got assets. The problem is the Cleveland Browns are still making those picks later on. So you're always reserved whenever we do that. So ultimately, though, we're looking for a quarterback, right? So you figure, okay, if you look at it in those terms, eventually we got the draft capital for next year. You've got that first-round pick. And, the old saying in football, and Dane, help me with this one, is that if you have 2 quarterbacks, you've got none, right? So what happens when you have 5 quarterbacks? Does that mean you're going to find one? Because that's where we're at right now. If that doesn't work out, then maybe we'll find that one next year with that Jacksonville pick, or heck, guys, maybe even our pick if we're at the top of the draft next year.
Yeah, I think the term is if you have 2, you have none. If you have 5, you're the Browns. I think is
there it is.
I think that's what it is.
That's such a sassy answer.
We're in right now. And what's wild is, when you saw Shadir Sanders falling, you just know you're going to be involved somehow as a Browns fan. You see him fall day after day. I mean, you just know that ship is coming into port, and it's going to be in Lake Erie. It's going to be Cleveland. And sure enough, it happens.
Okay, how'd you feel about that when it happened? When Sanders' name is called, and Grant, yeah, I agree. I believe you knew it was going to happen as soon as the 5th round started. You were like, yep, Browns are taking him.
Here we go.
So how do you feel? Like, I try to look at it logically, which is tough for Browns fans. I know for you guys, but
right.
I look at it like it's a very cheap investment, and it could pay off. And if it doesn't, it was a very cheap investment.
There's 2 things I always look for with my Cleveland Browns. Number 1 is to be good. If that doesn't happen, number 2, be interesting, right? And that's what you got now. You've got a wild quarterback room with Shadir Sanders now in there. I don't know how they're all going to work together. It's going to be wild. My first thought when we made that pick was like, why did we get Dylan Gabriel? Why did we spend that pick? Now, I understand you didn't know Shadir was going to fall to us as far as they did, but still, that was the head scratcher of this whole draft for me, is that Dylan Gabriel pick. And then when we get Shadir at that point, it's like, well, we might as well take a flyer. Okay, I'm okay with that. But now, like I said, it makes for a wild quarterback room.
I think if you want it interesting, you definitely got it. If that's one of the requirements, that'll be fun to watch play out. You did pick up a Buckeye, Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Are you excited? I'd imagine you are. And what do you think the fallout is for that, or what it says about your current running back room or situation?
Yeah. So my first thought was, why didn't we go with Travion?
Yep.
And from the way it's been explained to me is like, no, Quinshon is going to be kind of a Kareem Hunt here in Cleveland. So it makes more sense as a change it up back. And then my second thought is, okay, who's going to be the other back? Is it going to be Jerome Ford? Is it going to be Nick Chubb? And then we go and draft another back later on, Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. So now we've got 2 packs. So I think they're telling us, hey, who knows what's going to happen with these 2, but now they've got some options there with what they want to do with either Jerome Ford or Nick Chubb. My first thought was Chubb's going to end up being gone. But we'll see what happens. I mean, we've got a similar thing with the line.
Looks like we lost.
Trying to recover from the injuries. And we go out and we pick up Schlesinger as a linebacker, and you think, okay, maybe that spells JOK. So really, we came into this draft with a whole lot of needs, and then we walk away kind of replacing some guys, which is kind of an interesting tactic. I think it tells us Browns aren't going to be very good next year, but they're trying to build for what's next, right?
Yeah, I got to believe for Browns, it's going to suck being another, but you guys are used to it. Like, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm saying, but like, there should be, I think the Browns are setting up to not be very good next year because they know next year's draft is much better, and you can give these guys, the young guys you brought in, a year to develop and then really start going after. But the problem, like, I thought they wasted Joe Thomas's career, and I fear they're wasting Myles Garrett's career.
Yeah, and I would agree with you there. And I wonder, when Myles decided to come back, he said, well, the Browns met with me, and I like the plan going forward. You got to believe that plan was, hey, we're going to make you the most well-paid defensive end in the league. And that was the end of it. Because you look at what they've done since that time. Did Joe Flacco make him really excited? Dylan Gabriel? Shadir Sanders? Was that the plan? I mean, I understand Mason Graham, okay, sitting him on the defense next to him. But the ultimate plan, it's like, I don't know. I don't really see it, Myles Garrett. I don't see why you go from this team isn't winning anytime soon to, hey, I'm signed up, we're ready to go, I believe in this front office, other than that paycheck increased quite a bit.
But look, be honest, though. You're going to head into the Kenny Pickett era. You had to be excited when they got Joe Flacco.
Absolutely. Well, you had a front row seat to the Kenny Pickett era, as we all did. And it was like, what are we doing? I thought the Browns were helping me make memes for myself here, because you bring in a guy with the small hands and, all the old jokes there. And it's like, oh, geez, this stuff's almost too easy now. And then you go and you bring back Flacco, which everybody enjoys in Cleveland because you have some goodwill there. But you're still looking at retreads and then a bunch of young guys. And what Deshaun Watson's just going to be, hey, stay away from the facility as much as we can. So it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the, I guess, first 6 draft picks. And it's funny because it's like they got a lot of really good players. It's just in the context of what the plan was here that it's hard to make it fit. You got Mason Graham, Carson Schwezinger, Quinshon Judkins, Harold Fannin, Dylan Gabriel, and Shadur Sanders. Like, you got a bunch of good players, but as far as your future and draft planning, it's a bit of a head scratcher. We can stick there, or you want to talk some Cavs, because you guys do have in another sport an exciting team going on.
We looked great yesterday, didn't we? I'll tell you what, the first road game in this series, we come out, just blow out the Heat, and we did it without Darius Garland. I mean, this team is a wagon right now, and I just hope it continues. You see Boston stubbing their toe on the western side. You see the Lakers stubbing their toe. So I think the Cavs, it's always cautious optimism in Cleveland, obviously. I've seen one championship back in 2016 with all 3 of my teams in my lifetime. But this Cavs team, I'll tell you what, Kenny Atkinson has put together a team that not only is very talented on the court, which they were for JB as well, but also seems to really like each other and want to play together. You see Donovan Mitchell playing the role of the veteran. When he needs to be a star, he can step up. Now, I would like to see him shoot a little bit better from outside from time to time. But when he needs to step back, he can distribute. He can get everybody involved. You've got role players. You've got bench players on this team that can come off the bench and help at any time. So I really like the depth, the top-end depth that this team has got. I like the chances of us making a run, and I like the fact that we've managed through the regular season to keep everybody healthy. And I think the schedule allowed for that because of the way we are playing our depth players.
If you're not following him on Twitter, you're wrong. Follow him. He's at reflog_18. Lots of great content all the time, and some damn funny memes out there also. Not just the content he puts out in the witty comments, but I'm telling you, the dude's a great follow. Chris, we appreciate the time, brother. We'll talk again soon.
Appreciate it, guys. See ya.
That was Chris McNeil right there. Again, at reflog_18. He is a social media legend. Coming up in 2 minutes, speaking of legend, is an NFL legend being petty. That's next. Fan Sports Sunday on the Fan.
Here on The Fan, we talk about getting rid of joint pain with the regenerative experts at QC Kinetics. There's no surgery, no downtime, just your body's own healing properties working to give you relief, so you can enjoy doing the activities that you love, like the fastest growing sport in the country. That's pickleball. And here in the Columbus area, QC Kinetics is proud to be a sponsor of Paddle Tap's Pickleball Club. Learn, grow your skills, challenge yourself, and meet other pickleball players. Paddle Tap's Pickleball Club features the ultimate indoor facility with 16 state-of-the-art courts. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, Paddle Tap welcomes all skill levels. See what you're missing. Call Paddle Taps and mention QC Kinetics, and you'll get 1 hour of free play, courtesy of QC Kinetics, the people who take care of those achy joints, so you can play for years to come. For details, go to pbtaps.com. That's pbtaps.com. pbtaps.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
You can stream the game on your phone while you're gardening. You can stream it while you walk the dog. You can stream it at a trampoline park. You can even stream it at a monster truck rally. But the second you get behind the wheel, the game's over. Remember, Ohio, phones down. It's the law.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Coffee? These guys don't need coffee. They're jacked on life. And Buckeye football. You're listening to Fan Sports Sunday.
All right, final segment of the program. Coming up next, Reds against the Rockies. Out there in Colorado, Reds got the win yesterday. They are now 14-13 on the season. Cavs play tomorrow night against Miami. They're up 3-0. They can sweep that series right then, which is always critical this time of year for teams to get sweeps and get extra rest before their next opponent comes in. The person I think is being petty is Lawrence Taylor. I will tell you this though, Lawrence Taylor didn't necessarily do anything wrong, and there's no bad blood between him and Abdul Carter. That's the way it all appears. But Abdul Carter, the number 3 draft pick overall by the Giants, a linebacker, a defensive end, I guess. You call him an edge rusher probably more than he was a linebacker, moved to an edge rusher this past year. Anyway, he asked Lawrence Taylor if he could wear Lawrence Taylor's number 56 that's been retired by the Giants, but he reached out to Lawrence and he said he's a player he looks up to as a fellow defensive star, and he wanted to wear 56. And Taylor said, I know he would love to wear that number, but hey, I think it's retired. Get another number. I don't care if it's a 00, and then make it famous. Carter responds with, the worst thing he could say was, no, my stance don't change. LT is the GOAT. He did a GOAT emoji in a tweet. He said, nothing but respect. This is just going to make me work even harder. I love it. So they're both cool with it. I think it should be up to the organization, not the player, on the number. I don't think the player should have carte blanche on that number as far as who gets it and who doesn't.
It is by nature kind of a ceremonial thing.
Sure.
So I think, if the organization had say over it, there would be no point of retiring it in the first place.
And I get that.
If they're retiring it, they're saying like, okay, the retiring only means nobody else can wear it.
Right.
So that's what they've said. So they're almost saying like, okay, if the guy says he's all right with it, then sure, we'll give you a pass.
It becomes a professional wrestling retirement where it's in play again in 5 years.
Oh. That's fair. Katzenmoyer, I know I'd ask Archie. I think you want to get Archie's blessing for wearing 45 here. And Archie said he was okay with it. The Cowboys do their Ring of Honor. They don't retire numbers. And there's some organizations that do that. They do a Ring of Honor or something like that. And don't, because like the Celtics, they've got so many damn numbers retired. Like, and the Yankees as well. I mean, the Yankees, I think 1 through 9 are all retired, if I'm not mistaken, now with Jeter coming out of that. But
it is true. I mean, what stops the Giants from saying, okay, this is our 3rd round pick, and we want to give 56. We're going to let him wear 56.
Right. Now, and then you got the other thing, too, where players, like, negotiate with current players, like, to get the number. Like, when Shohei got the number for the Dodgers, the player wore it before. I believe his wife bought that guy like a Porsche and gave him a bunch of other gear too.
It is always one of those gray area things. Like there's no law or rule around it. Right. Sure, the organizations can force the hand, but at the end of the day, it's a number. So most of the time you're reaching out either out of respect or you are, if in Shohei's case, you are showing that as a sign of respect, saying like, I'm not just going to come in and bully take you. Yeah. Like, here's what I'll give. Like, even though if I wanted to flex on it,
he could have.
I could have.
If Shohei says to the Dodgers, I'm not coming here unless if I don't get this number, I'm going to go play for the Blue Jays.
Yeah. So it's always it's a not only a sign of respect, it's almost kind of like a. What's a
rite of passage kind of thing, or no? It's
I guess I've never heard of anybody saying no. Do people they actually ask them and then they say no? I don't think you can.
In situations like this, I think that's probably more than likely to happen. Not during I think there have been times where guys try to negotiate for numbers, but baseball players are so superstitious. Sometimes there's nothing you give them, they won't give the number up just because that's
currently
when they always
playing though.
Yeah, currently playing. Yes, but as far as former players, like I say, I believe I remember if I have the story right, I believe Katzenmoyer wanted to make sure it was cool with Archie, and Archie said it was fine. I think Katzenmoyer wore that at Westerville South. But I don't remember many times like this. But I just think that it should rest with the teams to sit. Like the team, look, you can say going into in college, when you go to high school, whatever to play, I don't think in high school, your freshman year, you got to pick your number. They gave you a jersey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was your number. The one they said, this is your jersey number. And they could say, you know what, we're going to give you this jersey next year. This is your number next year. They changed it around in that because it was the team's decision. At the professional level,
I would guess the team did make their decision by one, retiring it, and two, saying, if he said, can I have 56? They said, well, it's retired. Could you pick a different one? Well,
right.
What if I ask him myself? And I'm like, okay, I guess you could try.
Right.
And they reach out and he's like, no. It is a little bit of an odd no. I hear what he's saying, but yeah. I don't know why you would feel any kind of, if somebody really wanted to wear it that bad, that it would reflect on you in any way. If they wore it and were terrible.
Yeah, I mean, 56, we know 56 iconic. You tell me 56 Giants, I know it's Lawrence Taylor. I know that even in whatever context you want to give it, because I played him in video games and watched him play. I know how damn good he was. He was the most dominating defensive player I ever watched. And the way he was all over the field, it was just, he redefined a lot of the ways that position is played. So I understand why he would do that. But isn't it the same as, but this is what I don't understand, how they would feel differently when guys say, I hope my record gets broken. I don't think that's true. Like when guys say, if someone comes along and breaks my record, I hope my record gets broken. My record won't stand forever. I think players truly would like their record to stand forever. If you hold on to the number the same way, I would think you'd want that notoriety also. When guys are coming close to breaking records, like I think when LeBron, he knew it was inevitable. He was like, my record's supposed to be broken. Good for LeBron. I'm glad he's breaking. I bet deep down, as good of a man, as wholesome of a man that Kareem is, I bet Kareem was like, wish I still had that record. Wish I was still the all-time leading scorer in the NBA.
I'm sure. I think you're right on that. And
but they always say the other thing. They always say, good for him.
Well, he did kind of say that. Lawrence Taylor said, basically, well, he might be better than me. Well, it's just like, okay, then just let him try to be better in 56. There's probably a piece of that, but then where you're like psychoanalyzing the dude. Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure there's a part where okay, when you're done playing, and that's you're done, right? Yeah. There's no more you can add to that legacy. Years pass, more people are forgetting about you, LT. Right. I don't know, maybe you're not making the list anymore. Years pass, that's like maybe this is the last thing, or it's like this is another thing that's going away, and you grasp onto it. I don't know. I mean, I guess if they gave him the right to say, hey, you make the call, LT, and he said, no. No, you can't do it. No, don't you do it. No.
And I'm the same guy, by the way. If I ever played for Ohio State, I've said this before, the rest of my life, if I ever played for Ohio State, I would go out with my jersey on and my helmet everywhere I go in public. I would be 54-year-old Tito with a jersey that said "Fit Off" on the back, and I'd wear a helmet everywhere I went. And then when people recognize me, I would act surprised.
Few friends.
That's an act surprised. Hey, did you play for Ohio State? Oh my gosh, yeah, you recognized me. God, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Love it. We were walking this trivia thing last night, and somebody walking in front of us heard me and Scotty and Baker talking. He turned out and said, you guys sound familiar. You with the fan? I was like, yeah, I'm Dane Sassy Sanzenbacher.
Oh, you went there, huh?
No,
why don't you tell him what actually happened?
So anyway, I want to say thank you to our guests today. They were great. Mekka Don joined us. We had, obviously, Aaron Portzline from The Athletic. Join The Athletic. He's at A Portzline. At Mekka Don Music, by the way, for Mekka. And then also Chris McNeil joining us there in the last segment talking about the Guardians and what the Browns did in the draft and the Cavs. I guess we didn't talk Guardians at all. He's a Guardians guy also, but he's Mr. Cleveland. Follow him at Reflog18. But make sure you stick around, because coming up next, right here on these airwaves, you've got the Reds and the Rockies. Reds looking for another win in Colorado, and that's coming up next. Right